Good morning, good afternoon, or indeed good evening, and welcome to Pit Road Productions for the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship live here at Miami International Autodrome. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be an absolute belter of a show tonight. We've got the beautiful TCRs and the GT4s taking part in the first race before we head over to the GT3s, consisting of two different classes, the GTD and the GTD Pro. I've got to say, it's been an absolute treat to have Podium 1 indeed here on Pit Road Productions. I've got to say, it's going to be an absolute belter. In case you didn't know, my name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth today, the one and only Mr. Reese Gardner. He's going to be here in just a few short moments, having a few technical difficulties there. But certainly, before we get too stuck in, let's take a look here. Well, we're going to do things a little bit out of order today. We're going to take a look here at the championship standings, indeed. Absolutely fantastic stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off here with the GT4s. As you can see there, Doug Sorrentino currently leading that battle with 28 points clear here of Amrit Restrala. Those two guys having some incredible racing action so far. Maxwell Budd, he's there in third place, just 10 points behind, and about a little bit zippy map here, 12 points clear of Pierce Fox, with Tommy Polty trailing there in fifth place as well. As we head over to the TCR field, Javi Sierra has been absolutely dominant as of late. He's currently leading the field with Michael Checo in second, 473 points. A commanding lead himself over Andrew Garov, who's currently there with 428 points. Having a fantastic battle though, just 3 points in between himself and Drew Warren in fourth, and indeed Scott Laurenti in fifth. Had incredible pace last week, but indeed not able to bring it home when it really mattered, and certainly had a little bit of race incidents there as well. Well, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too excited, let's indeed take a look indeed at where we've been and where we're going. We started off at Sebring before heading to Detroit Balmoral for round 2, Misano for round 3, and then a personal favourite of mine, but the land of the off-tracks, it was Imola for round 4. Long Beach was nothing short of chaotic for round 5 before round 6, marking our way into the second half of the season. We headed on over to Daytona. Round 7 of Road Atlanta was the course of choice, with round 8 taking us to Adelaide before we head to the penultimate round here today at round 9 of Miami. Indianapolis is going to be the hot topic there for round 10. Well, I've got to say, ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute pleasure to be here. And indeed, we've got quite a good field here today. 16 cars split between two different classes. And taking a quick look, it's going to be mainly the GT4s being the popular choice there. 10 cars in class with 6 there, sorry, in the TCR. Certainly, we did hope to see a few more. Reese, can I get a check?
Check. 1 2 1 2.
Attaboy, welcome back just in time to do the sponsors.
Oh, fantastic. I haven't had time to get my Chrome window up yet. You might have to start us off.
All right, well, indeed, I will. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with our returning sponsor. It's Carbless, offering a line of premium Canon cocktails designed for drinkers who refuse to compromise on flavor or fitness goals. These ready-to-drink options featuring vodka, rum, and tequila bases for classic drinks like margaritas and mojitos are built on a simple promise: bold flavor with zero compromises. Every 12-ounce can is zero sugar, zero carbs, gluten-free, and just 100 calories. Certainly, we need to get these here in Canada, and by all means, I will be happy to sample them as we head on over to our next sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, starting a little bit more in my territory, it's Nixon Power, a new series sponsor headquartered in Brentwood, Tennessee. They focus exclusively on the power generation marketplace, providing industrial, residential, and marine generators, complemented by an aftermarket team that delivers premium technical services and parts support.
Absolutely. And also, we've got to thank Moza Racing as well, a fast-growing brand making high-performance sim racing hardware for PC and console, VR, and flight simulation. Known for affordable, powerful direct-drive wheelbases, modular wheels, and pedals, Moza offers a full automotive-engineered ecosystem, from beginner bundles to high-end setups, including durable, realistic equipment like steering wheels, digital dashes, and flight simulation gear.
Well, certainly both me and Reese are looking to try and get one of them Moza truck wheels. Indeed, the only one on the market. And I do believe they just come out with some fancy shifter as well, but certainly leave that to CJ Conklin to a little bit of a review of some of the new motor gear. As we head on over to Speed Designs, ladies and gentlemen, located in Phoenix, Arizona, specializing in custom helmet painting, providing unique, modern, and high-speed designs to drivers across the globe, including those in Formula One, IMSA, pro karting, NASCAR, and dirt track racing. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have indeed watched Pit Road Productions before on a Saturday, you'd have seen Swelly Almeida's Almeida Academy. Indeed, his helmet, painted by the one and only Mr. Darwin Hanson, owner of Speed Designs.
Absolutely, and Darwin does a fantastic job with his helmets. And finally, last but not least, Podium 1 Racing is a Nashville, Tennessee-based builder of turnkey racing and flight simulator systems. They offer premium ready-to-use rigs that integrate high-end components such as Fanatec, Azetec, and Cubic motion systems to meet the needs of serious racers and professional training environments. Of course, the namesake of this championship, and what a championship it has been, Zippy. I can't believe we only have 2 rounds remaining, and it's quite the interesting layout that we're running today. I expected us to be running the full Grand Prix layout, but we are running the extended MIA loop today, so cutting off a couple of parts of the racetrack, one of which I'm quite glad to see go. That back section with that chicane under the freeway bridge, I think that would be disastrous.
Certainly myself, if it's disastrous for them, it usually ends up being entertainment for us. But certainly myself, not too familiar with this circuit, other than seeing it on Formula 1, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, what a season that's been so far. I don't know if you've been watching Reese, but honestly, from where I'm sat, while I'm glad that Lewis Hamilton may actually finally get, you know, he has a chance at the minute as it stands. He has a chance, we'll put it at that, of potentially getting a world title. Realistically, he's already won 8. He just wasn't recognized for it. Indeed, it was a whole hot topic. And yes, if my mother is watching, I've not gotten over that. Indeed, he was cheated of that. Now that I've probably upset half of the audience, indeed, we should probably carry on here and take in some of the finer points here of Miami. But certainly, I gotta say, at this particular track, not being too familiar, I'd probably want to rock the TCRs, Reese. How about yourself?
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what the TCRs do around here. I think this is the layout that actually really suits the TCRs, personally. The GT4s, I think it suits, the layout suits them very nicely as well.
Indeed, it does. That was Doug Sorrentino bringing it across the line here. As Pierce Fox, that looked like he was just grazing the wall just then. Indeed, and he has aborted that lap. Jackman has indeed come to the end of a lap. So Chris Schuessler, the last car out on track.
Yes, and with only a minute left in the session, we'll have to wait and see what he can do as he makes his way to the final couple of corners. He's just coming off the purpose-built MIA section of this racetrack and back onto the start-finish straight used by Formula 1. This is the extended MIA loop, so it uses the final hairpin. It's a very heavy braking zone into a super tight final corner. It's going...
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have indeed just lost Reese Gardner, ladies and gentlemen. Suddenly he's going to absolutely slap his audio devices in a few short moments. As there we go, Chris Schuessler brings it down pit road. Well, that is indeed going to bring qualifying to a very short end, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, we're going to have 2 races for you tonight. The TCRs and GT4s sharing the track today before we head on over to the GT3s. Indeed, it's going to be an absolute treat as well. Penultimate round before we head on over to Indianapolis. Not quite sure what's happening next season yet. Certainly, it's definitely been hard work for CJ. Indeed, we definitely feel for him. And he's not only been doing that, he's been having a little bit of help in race control as well. Certainly, I think originally Darwin Hansen was intending to come on board with that. And then Doug Sorrentino has actually stepped in there when they do the GT3s and GTDs. But let's take a look here at your starting grid here. Starting indeed with the interesting. The TCRs are going to be at the front of the pack this time. No, that can't be right. Again, we could be in for a surprise here, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, Michael Pacheco is going to be leading the TCRs. Managed to get the better here of Javi Sierra, who's going to have to take second. Andrew Garrett's going to be in third with Scott Laurenti in fourth. Quinn Manders in fifth with CJ Conklin rounding out the 6-car TCR field. Having a look though at the GT4's Pete Jeji, he ends up taking the pole with Doug Sorrentino having to settle for second. Moving further back though, Maxwell Budd takes third with Pierce Fox in fourth. Emma Pastrana's going to be in fifth with Tommy Polly in sixth. Joshua Travis in seventh with Jack Minter in eighth. Sean Phillips in ninth, and indeed Chris Schuessler rounding out your 10-car GT4 field. Oh, I've got to say, absolutely fantastic stuff, ladies and gentlemen. As indeed, the blimp shot there, not proven to be the most effective one we've had, but right now you can see these drivers are gearing up, and indeed the TCRs are actually going to be starting ahead of the GT4s today. Absolutely quite a surprise there. Definitely did not see that coming. Indeed, the new Audi definitely getting a little bit of a hit there. Been quite popular amongst drivers in the official sessions, but out here, looks like Honda's been a dominant choice. The Audi, well, literally, it's pretty even split, ladies and gentlemen. 3 Audis, indeed 4 Hondas taken to the field today. Gotta say myself, I mean, I think there's going to be a little bit of a new car, you know, new car glory perhaps. And, you know, indeed, I remember the 911 GT3 when that first came out. It was indeed an absolute weapon, and struggled with it ever since the first update of it. But take a look here. We're going to have to see exactly how this is going to go on. These drivers are making their pace lap around Miami. Oh, I gotta wonder what the race strategy is going to be. Indeed, first track we've ever seen the TCRs. First time I've ever seen the TCRs actually take it to the start of the grid ahead of the GT4s. Usually it is the other way around, but definitely good to have the driver cams on today as well. We do actually have 3 drivers rocking the cameras today. Andrew Garov is going to be one of them. CJ Conklin, Michael Pacheco, indeed actually 4 drivers. Chris Scheusler making an appearance at the end of qualifying as well. Say Florida, probably a very nice place to be right now as well. Beautiful Miami, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, I do have to wonder though, how did Pete Geggi interesting, he's switched class of car, that's what's done that. All right, we can fix that. Indeed, the start of the race gets underway here for the TCRs, and already you can see Michael Pacheco taking to the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Started to pull away very slightly in that brand new Audi. Indeed, in second, Javi Sierra is going to be there very much in pursuit. As we take a look here as the GT4 field starts to get live as well, ladies and gentlemen. Doug Sorrentino already making his way there, and he's going to be in the front of the pack. There we go. That's making more sense now. Pete Geggi choosing to change cars there between rounds. Definitely threw a little bit of a curveball here. But right now, Doug Sorrentino is indeed on the pole. GT4 field remains unchanged. Meanwhile, though, Pete Geggi has managed to find his way up 1 position, as done as CJ Conklin as well. He's managed to make his way past Quinn Manners. Meanwhile, though, a little bit of action going in for the Red Bull livery car as he made his way ahead of Andrew Garov. Take a look on board here. You can see the look of absolute determination here. Don't get me wrong, he's going to be keen to try and get that position back. On iRacing, these 2 drivers are similarly matched, ladies and gentlemen. Is it indeed Honda versus Honda versus Honda? Javi Sierra at the front of the pack. See there, Andrew Garov in a little bit of a tighter exit there as well. The front wheel drive machine, a lot of power, definitely a lot of torque. These turbocharged engines will absolutely dump it down. Indeed, the traction control being a crucial part. But right now, Pete Geggi is pretty much holding on. Meanwhile, though, Maxwell Budd once again applying all sorts of pressure there, as that looked a little bit wide there by Tommy Paul's here, able to keep hold of it and keep it away from the wall. But certainly a few of these drivers here potentially struggling with some cold tires. As you regain here at the front of the TCR pack as well, you can see there that the one and only Michael Pacheco is indeed applying all sorts of pressure, ladies and gentlemen. Right there, you see there, he's got Javi Sierra right behind in the 979. That is indeed a championship leader. You see there, Sierra applying all sorts of pressure. Indeed, Pacheco in that new Audi, it's going to be a little bit of an unfamiliar car for him. It's definitely had a bit more on the facelift. It's a newer generation indeed, and these drivers are not quite able to separate away there, as Scott Laurenti has just managed to get a move done on Andrew Garov, who picked up a slowdown going through the left-hander. Meanwhile, here we go. That is a attempted move here by Javi Sierra. Looks to try and make a move up on the inside, and it's fair to say it's backfired a little bit there. Pete Geggi trying to get in on the action as well, as we've got a almost three-way fight here going on for the lead. About 1.1 seconds back, though. Scott Laurenti and Andrew Garov getting into it as well as they go side by side across the start finish. Fastest lap now being held cleanly by Mr. Scott Laurenti, as Pete Geggi has gone and taken to the lead, and he's got a little bit deep there, and definitely a little bit unfortunate for Pacheco. He 100% just got pushed out there indeed, and has been relegated back to third place. Javi Sierra able to capitalize on all of that and has pulled away about an 0.8 of a second lead. All right, now you see the battle is indeed spicing up for second. 2 by 2, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, Michael Pacheco trying to find his way back to the front of the field. He's almost floundering a little bit there. As here comes Scott Laurenti, ladies and gentlemen. The Honda is trying to make a move here on the new Audi. You have to wonder as well, is it a case of, you know, just pouring the tires a little bit too quick here? Is it a case of just a little bit unfortunate that Pete Jeji almost barging his way forward there in the TCR field. Meanwhile, Andrew Garoff, he's managed to stay there in 3rd position. Pete Jeji up in 2 positions as well. But are we going to see a little bit more of a battle here for the podium? You can see Pacheco there trying to get into another fight. A little bit of a pop, a little bit of a bang there out of the back of that Audi. Indeed, as these guys are flirting with the limits of the wall. Indeed, let's take a quick look back here in the GT4 field. Doug Sorrentino currently leading the charge. Maxwell Butt there in 2nd. And indeed, it's shocking. These GT4 cars are lapping quicker than the TCRs. But despite that, they gridded behind us. I'm not quite sure what happened there in the race control side of it, as Javi Sierra now is left uncontested here, as Pete Jeji and Andrew Garoff are duking it out for P2. Yeah, definitely a newer track to a lot of these drivers. Certainly, he's not been in the iRacing service for that long, as you see there on the exit. He's trying to get it done. Makes a little bit of a late move on the brake and goes on the inside of the chicane. Side by side they go. And you see right behind there, that's Pacheco. He's looking to get in on the action as well. These two guys still going side by side. Oh, we're going to see Pacheco try and thread it down the middle there. He's trying to go on the outside of Garoff, but is it going to be enough? Garoff absolutely slams the door shut, ladies and gentlemen, and holds on to P3. Meanwhile, here in the TCR GT4 field, you see Sean Phillips now trying to make a move here on Jack Minter. It's going to be Mustang versus Cayman, indeed, as Reese Gardner makes his return.
Yes, hopefully permanently this time. I do apologize for the technical problems. The start of the race underway, 5 minutes in, and we've got a pretty nice battle going on for second here. Pete Jeji, Andrew Garov, CJ Conklin. Goodness me, the TCR's coming in early here. Jack Minter and Sean Phillips find their way into the pits there. Of course, driving the brand new Audi RS3 that was only added in this season's build. Let's see what the issue was. Oh, that looks like a big problem there. Scott Laurenti getting into the back of Michael Pacheco, and actually it was those two making their way into the pits.
Yeah, that's definitely a little bit unfortunate. I don't know if they're going to have pit early enough there for it to be a like strategic pit stop. But meanwhile, though, despite the new paint, these guys are all rocking some interesting paints. It's going to be CJ Conklin there. But what I can undoubtedly say is a liquid molly paint, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, that's Doug Sorrentino trying to find his way past. Indeed, he says puts up on the inside of the league admin. Maxwell Budd looking to follow behind as well. Definitely a few of these drivers, I have a feeling, will be picking up some slowdowns. The curbs offering a little bit more of an opportunity. But the biggest thing, maybe Reese, you can answer this one. Why on earth did the GT4 start behind the TCRs today?
I can't answer that question. Potentially it was something with the server configuration. Not entirely certain. Usually the GT4s are gridded ahead of the TCRs, but something must have been different today. It certainly resulted in things being a little difficult for our GT4 machinery. And also you remember from qualifying just how equal the lap times were between the classes. This is the kind of circuit where any straight line speed advantage the GT4 cars have is effectively eliminated. So it turns out not just multi-class action, but inter-class action is probably going to decide this race today.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun battle indeed. As you see there, we've got Sean Phillips able to find his way there over and through. As we take a look back here at the TCR field, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Garoff pretty much solidly there in third. And indeed, the GT4s really mix it up there. It's pretty much separated this field. Meanwhile, though, Amrit Pastrana trying to make the moves here on CJ Conklin.
Yep, Amrit's going to make his way past at the end of the permanent section, or the semi-permanent section, I should say. Has lost a bit of time on the previous laps to the top three, but at the moment, fastest car in the GT4 class and fastest car on track, Sorrentino, Budd, and Fox. They've been able to run 1 minute 14s on the previous lap, and Pierce Fox the quickest of the top three, but Amrit Pastrana dipping into the 113s. So if he can get past Quinn Manders and start to mount an attack on that top three, we'll be seeing them start to close up.
Yeah, definitely going to keep an eye out on that, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed. I got to say, on this one, Reese, I'm definitely would 100% would have purchased the TCR on this one, as myself, you know, the GT4, I tried taking the Aston out the other day in one of the Week 13 races, and it's fair to say that that was a very bad idea. It did not work out well for me, but let's take a look here as Michael Pacheco now applying a little bit of pressure to the back of Sean Phillips.
Yes, Pacheco at the moment running in 6th in the TCR class after that rear-end contact from Scott Laurenti. And I think it was a good decision for him to get the pit stop out of the way. The TCRs generally do have to come into the pits once over the course of the 30-minute race that these two classes run. But yeah, you see the really short, sharp blast between corners there. They briefly rejoined the F1 circuit before splitting off here into this section that brings you onto the back straight, and the straights just don't seem to be long enough for the GT4s to get any advantage. They certainly have to brake earlier than the TCRs.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a little bit interesting for sure. As right now, let's take a look here. Javi Sierra is absolutely ran away with this right now. He's currently leading the race, the whole race, by about 6.6 seconds. Meanwhile, Pete Geggi, definitely a little bit of a controversial move there as he made his way into second, and with Andrew Garrett there in third. Meanwhile, Doug Sorrentino very much on the approach. I gotta say, this circuit definitely having some really slow spots indeed. As Sorrentino makes his way past Andrew Garrett and takes the third place overall.
All right, 113.7 on the last lap for Sorrentino as Garov is forced off the track slightly as Maxwell Budd and Pierce Fox make their way through. You can use all of the tarmac runoff beyond that white and blue line there on the exit. And now the run is potentially coming here from Pierce Fox. He's pushing as hard as he dares here behind the Mercedes of Maxwell Budd. 20 minutes remain. We are 1/3 down in the TCR and GT4 categories, and we still have TCRs running 1 and 2 overall. Javi Sierra and Pete Geggi, they're still a few seconds ahead of these guys, but you can just see them now.
Yeah, actually taking a look at the best lap time, Javi Sierra is quicker than some of these GT4s, but not all of them. There's definitely a little bit of variance. So indeed, I do understand how the two classes could have got mixed up. It really could go anyway. Certainly, it's a mixed feelings. Like with these two cars so similarly matched, depending on the venue. Like, it really, you know, I don't know, I can't decide if it makes for fantastic racing or if indeed you'd want the speed difference to be higher. It's honestly a really tough one to call.
Yeah, I think at more open circuits with longer straights, the two-class format works. But at tracks like this, where it's mighty twisty, I think a little bit more speed from the GT4s or even a bit less speed from the TCRs would be ideal for action. At the moment, we're still seeing them carve their way through this field. Pete Geggi in the TCR. Making his way behind Doug Sorrentino. Very good run thus far from the number 16.
Yeah, a little bit of bad timing, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to tell you about that in just a few short moments, but certainly I was not expecting it to pop up fully on screen here. As Maxwell Budd now still getting a little bit of pressure here behind with the Pierce Fox there, making their way past Pete Geggi.
All right, so power down, and it looks like it took a few laps for them to get up to speed, but now the GT4s are certainly putting their paces on the TCRs. We've seen Sorrentino, Budd, and Fox actually extend the gap to Amrit Vestrala there. It seems that Amrit has not quite been able to keep up the pace that he was setting before, so we'll see what he can do. He's really struggling with that Mustang over the curbs.
Yeah, I definitely think these lower speed sections of the circuit are not in the favor of the GT4s. Indeed, the TCRs are absolutely dominating on that section of the circuit. But let's take a look here as Michael... Oh, dear, that's Sean Phillips gone wide.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that was a weird spin. It looks like... Oh, that spin started through the penultimate corner, I think. A slide that continued for a long time. And Sean Phillips was unable to make a recovery. Yeah, it looks like a bit of a tank slapper. The TCR behind was quite close, but I don't think there was contact.
Yeah, I'm definitely inclined to agree with you there. As a slowdown picked up by a couple of drivers here. Joshua Travis, he's just managed to go by one of those. Sean Phillips with the meatball flag. And not only that, Amrit Vestrala picking up a slowdown as well. As Andrew Garov looking to run a little bit deep there. Very deep indeed. That actually looked like he was smoking.
Yeah, I think potentially some wheel spin on the exit of the hairpin. It is quite a slow corner, and the TCRs, if you get on the power too hard out of slow corners, do like to light up that inside tire. Well, our leaders in both classes will be together on track now. just about. It's still about 5.5 seconds that Doug Sorrentino has to make up on Javi Sierra. But for the moment, Maxwell Budd has started to get a great turn of pace. He ran 0.4 of a second faster than Sorrentino on the previous lap, and they're starting to come up on Sean Phillips, who has a mechanical black flag to his name. This could result in a tiny bit of drama, but he stays well out of the way.
Well, I gotta say, definitely, you gotta know the track limits there, and certainly a few of these drivers are very much flirting with the curbing there, as indeed Maxwell Budd is going to be under attack here from Pierce Fox. Meanwhile, Doug Sorrentino, he's pretty much managed to pull away by about 1.3 seconds, but is he going to be enough here? The only bit of lap traffic he's got coming up is indeed going to be Javi Sierra, and he's got about a second on him in the last lap or so.
Yes. Overall lap times, we saw 112s in practice from Doug Sorrentino and Pierce Fox. And it just seems to me that despite the issues in the first part of the race, the GT4s seem to have gotten their pace advantage back. But Sorrentino doesn't need to worry too much. He doesn't really need to catch Javi Sierra. He's only racing against the two cars behind him at the moment. You know, that's really where the points battle is. So I think maybe they'll calm things down a little bit from here. Sean Phillips brings it in, finally making it back to the pits to clear his mechanical black flag. You often don't see the GT4s coming into the pits in these races. They have the fuel to last the whole distance.
Yeah, certainly what's got a little bit of a surprise for us on the first round. The TCRs all ended up making it down pit road, but right now I've got to say Pierce Fox, he's in a pretty dominant position. Indeed, I have a feeling if I had to take a GT4 round here, the Cayman would definitely be the car of choice. It's easily the most nimble here of the GT4s. I've got to say the Aston, it's an absolute pig. I tried driving it at VIR, and not only that, the field of view out of it was nothing short of shocking. Now, Reese, is that just me having a poor setup or these poor configuration, or is indeed that Aston Martin an absolute pig to drive?
I don't know. I like how the Aston drives, but it's the only car in the GT4 class that has the gear ratios from the road car. Every other GT4 car has race spec gear ratios, a dedicated race gearbox fitted to them. So that might be playing a part in your torrid experience, Zippy.
Oh, indeed, yeah. I always remember when it first came out, I tried to compete in the GT4 series, and indeed, it would, occasionally it would drop down a second and just, in a race session only, it would just literally spin out. It may have been a skill issue. It was likely a skill issue, but for the sake of argument, we're going to say it was a car issue. It was Emma Estrella picking up a yellow flag.
Yes, it looks like he's gone a bit too far beyond the curbs, so he'll have to clear that slowdown, and that's going to, once again, stall his run to try and catch back up to the top three. Speaking of the top three in GT4, they have almost caught up to our TCR leader. Javi Sierra has just been driving consistently up the front, setting consistent mid-115s. Doug Sorrentino, a 1:13.4. That is only a 10th behind what Maxwell Budd could manage for his fastest lap and the fastest lap of the race. But he's now under pressure as Budd from Pierce Fox. That Cayman is certainly looking racy around here.
And it looks like we got another battle starting to emerge here as well, as Quinn Manders is looking to try and take a piece out of Tommy Polsey as well. The TCRs here, looking at the last lap, Quinn definitely a little bit slower here. Yeah, Tommy Polsey managed to make his way by just a few laps ago, so certainly a little bit of a misread there. How about the back here, though? Michael Pacheco duking it out here with Joshua Travis.
Yes, some TCR on GT4 action. Pacheco completing a 6.2 second stop earlier to repair the damage from that shunt with Scott Laurenti earlier on. Now the slipstream comes in for the GT4 leaders. Doug Sorrentino alongside Javi Sierra, and Javi's just going to duck in behind. Doesn't need to do anything too drastic here. He's got a big advantage over Pete Geggi as things stand. About 9 seconds or so separates our TCR top two.
And indeed, Maxwell Budd there, he's going to have to make sure he gets past Javi Sierra going down the straightaway. Indeed, he's done it, ladies and gentlemen, as Pierce Fox is exactly the same. Certainly, sometimes lap traffic can give, but also sometimes it can take away. And I got to say, pretty lucky for these guys to get by when they did. Pierce Fox, though, definitely being able to keep Maxwell Budd honest pretty much this entire season. But Javi Sierra may benefit here from the draft.
Yes, that'll help to extend his advantage, and you know, as much of a cushion as you can build is ideal in these races. TCR is generally quite a close category, but Hubby Sierra has been the dominant force in the class in this particular league. Pierce Fox then got to try and nail the exit here, but it looks like there's a slow car on the exit of the section there. It would appear that Jack Minter has had some trouble getting up to speed in a bit of an awkward spot, I imagine.
Yeah, let's take a look here and find out what happened. Indeed, absolutely love the teeth on the front of that car. He's gone a little bit hot, a little bit of over rotation. Indeed, ended up facing the other way. Nothing too bad.
Yeah, quite brutal curb on the exit there. You can ride it very nicely, but if you go over it a bit too hard, it'll absolutely turn you around. 11 minutes to go, and Sorrentino, Bud, and Fox are still incredibly close for the top three of GT4. Sorrentino with that nice wide line into the opening hairpin. He's trying his best to maintain the speed through these opening turns, but you know, just judging from car behavior, it seems like Sorrentino's taking a bit more of those curbs, and the car's getting a little more unsettled than what Maxwell Budd is dealing with. Smoother lines, later turn-ins, not using as much of the curbs. It seems to be working out for Maxwell. Oh, and Pierce Fox, it seems, having a bit of trouble getting slightly sideways through the chicane.
Indeed, it's Chris Scheutzel there. They're making their way past. Indeed, Pierce Fox able to stay there with the lead pack a little bit closer than it maybe like, but indeed, Chris Scheutzel there doing some great sportsmanship as indeed Javi Sierra makes his way by as well. Maybe further back though, Amrit Pastrana looking to try and catch up here with Pete Geggi and try and take the outright 5th position.
Yes, Amrit Pastrana still running 4th in TCR. Pete Geggi, we saw him race a GT4 at Adelaide last week, and it seems that he's decided to switch to TCR for this round. He's having a much better time of things here, and it's good to see that he's been able to hold on to 2nd place and seems to have a nice handle on that Civic. Under 10 minutes remain, and Doug Sorrentino continues to hold on to the lead, but only by half a second from Maxwell Budd. These two have been duking it out at the very top of this field all season, and their battle continues here, briefly rejoining the F1 circuit again, but hitting the brakes almost instantly. It's such a tight layout that they're running here. Oh, that's a lot of curb there from Sorrentino, but he manages to avoid getting the slowdown.
I don't know how that was right on the limit. Indeed, you'd have needed a set of binoculars, and Maxwell Budd certainly seems to believe that he would have got a slowdown for that as well. I'm sorry, buddy, you are indeed mistaken. But speaking of Maxwell Budd, let's actually give him a little bit of a shout out here, because ladies and gentlemen, you saw a brief glimpse of it earlier. We are indeed going to be celebrating something here on Pit Road Productions very shortly. Wednesday the 25th of March, we're going to be celebrating our 250th show. We're going to start the night off with a 20-minute spec race of Ford race at Donington Park GP before heading over to Radical SR10 for Road Atlanta, indeed the full course as well. If you've been on a Pit Road Production show, you're invited. Just make sure that you do indeed apply for the league or indeed accept an invite if you've got one already, and we'd love to see you there. Maxwell Budd did make it out to a practice session as well. Definitely had a lot of fun here in the spec race of Ford.
Yes, looking forward to that on the 25th of March. So, yeah, if anyone else from this league is interested in joining, then make sure to get on it. We are rapidly approaching our 250th show celebration. Bit of oversteer for Doug Sorrentino there through the MIA shortcut. He's really running it close to the walls here, and he's not afraid to get all the way over those curbs through the chicane. There's a lot of pace you can get there, and you see how the gap just extended there. Quinn Manders, the next TCR car to find his way into the pit lane. I'd be very interested to hear from some of our TCR competitors how that new Audi is treating them. I gave it a bit of a drive at the brand new St. Petersburg street circuit, and it was an interesting experience. It's definitely a front-wheel drive TCR car. Doesn't behave that much differently to the old Audi, but the overall updates to the TCR category in the new season build have been very well received. Pete Geggi is going to face off against Amrit Pastrana. Maybe wait a couple of corners for that. Pastrana on the brakes early for the hairpin. Yeah, the GT4s definitely seem to be a lot heavier. They're almost it almost seems like the ballerina versus the ball dancer when you try and compare these cars here going around Miami. Indeed, we're seeing that the braking distances are massively different, but on the straightaways, the GT4s just absolutely pull away. That's always been the big difference. When it comes to the corners, the TCRs match or even outperform the GT4 cars. The GT4s are obviously heavier, but a bit more powerful. And the other big difference, the TCRs are front-wheel drive, the GT4s are rear-wheel drive. So quite different driving styles required to get the best out of them, but it seems through the turns they equal out quite a bit. So, rapidly approaching the final minutes of this race. Doug Sorrentino has responded nicely to Maxwell Budd making those gains in the previous laps and has managed to get some consistency down. But Pierce Fox is still right there to take advantage if either of our leading Mercedes have issues.
Yeah, certainly indeed. He's been consistently podium material, but not quite always been able to get it up there. Indeed, he's dropped back a little bit now. He's barely hanging onto the toe here for Maxwell Budd. He's about 9/10 of a second back. He needs to be able to get that Cayman into the corners. Indeed, throw it around a little bit harder if he wants to stay with the AMGs.
Yes, indeed. Have a look at the wheel work here through this opening section. Bit of elevation change you got to deal with through this hairpin as well. It's a little bit of a crest in the middle of the corner, so the car will wash out slightly on exit if you're not careful. The run through the chicane, he was almost two-wheeling it there, was Pierce Fox, I thought I saw in the background. The Mercedes getting the run out of the corner, though, and Maxwell Budd right on the back of Doug Sorrentino. Not much time left to make his move, but surely he's going to try and mount this attack soon. My timing is telling me 4 laps to go at the front of the field.
Yeah, certainly. I have a feeling as well, speaking of some of these GT4s, we're going to take a little bit of a variance here because one of the sponsors that we've seen here before, BPX, I do believe actually makes one of these wheels. And not only that, they make the wheel that's in this car. It's only just come out because CJ Conklin just did a little bit of a promo video for it on the Podium 1 channel.
Absolutely. It's one of the rare wheels that you are able to use in both the sim rig and a real-world race car. Fantastic to see. Emirates Vestrala there in the Mustang with that particular wheel there. But these Mercedes up the front, they are continuing to close up. Maxwell Budd seems pretty supreme in that opening section of the circuit, but then Doug Sorrentino just carries a little more confidence over the curbs here and is able to round up the exit. He was sacrificing a little bit on corner entry that gave him a massive run there down what is effectively the back straight around here. So it's just a case of Budd just needs to nail that run through the chicane, needs to sacrifice a little more speed on the way in so that he can keep up with Sorrentino on the way out.
Indeed, certainly it's whenever you get a street circuit, it almost comes down to a case of whoever dares wins, and certainly it's a high risk, high reward strategy. You've got to be able to push it to the limits. Indeed, you watch Formula One, I don't know why I'm giving them so many shout outs, it's not that good right now, but you'll see the drivers literally brushing the car against the wall, and indeed, I think at any street circuit, that's literally what you got to do. Connor Bell probably being the best example there. Certainly we've seen him drive at Chicago, and honestly, in a street circuit, he is an absolute machine. He's got to be able to push and indeed know where the limit of grip is and just how far you can push it beyond it.
Yes, the nature of Miami is interesting, though. It's one of those weird race tracks that's temporary, yes, and technically a street circuit, but majority of it is purpose-built, and you see it in the flow of the track as well. The only thing that really betrays its semi-permanent nature is how close the walls are to the bounds of the racetrack. Andrew Garov bringing it in from 3rd place in TCR. So that will leave CJ Conklin and our top 2, Javi Sierra and Pete Geggi, the only cars left to take a pit stop now in the TCR class. And well, CJ is enjoying himself, fully strapped in. He's catching up to Michael Pacheco.
Indeed he is, and certainly CJ as well. Definitely a passionate individual. His passion has led him to working full-time with Podium 1, in which case I'm very, very happy for him. And indeed, he's I believe his term is a media director, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly you see him plan the videos. Well, he plans the videos, he organizes them, he directs them as well. And sometimes he even stars them, ladies and gentlemen, so by all means check him out. He's also a talented musician. He's moved on to a different spot now as well, but certainly keep an eye on his Facebook to tune in for some live performances. Uh-oh.
Yes. Man of many talents, CJ Conklin. Javi Sierra jumping into pit lane, and that's going to be the run done for him on the first stint. Emrit Vestrala, with an incident, I would imagine, weaving a little down the back straight, and that's very wide through the final hairpin. Potentially Emrit encountering some hardware problems, or maybe he's sensing something wrong with the car. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but Emrit is now 22 seconds behind the top 3 battle in TCR, so not under much pressure, and I suppose he's just trying to cruise to the end now.
Yeah, Pete Jedge there, through the pit stops, he's absolutely got obliterated there, and I think Michael Pacheco may have actually got lucky there. He's managed to really make his way back up to 3rd place in class.
Yep, nicely done from Michael Pacheco. His pit stop got out of the way very early on, serviced with damage, and Pete Jedge, unfortunately, has left tyres checked on the setup. It's only a 30-minute race, and so the tyres should be able to last reasonably for the TCR class. That has resulted in a 48-second stop there for Pete. Either that, or he sped on the way into pit lane and gotten a penalty that's increased his pit stop time. TCR is usually only stopping for about 5 seconds in this league. It is the final lap, though, or coming up to the final lap. So the pressure is on for these drivers to make their moves. Scott Laurenti, no stranger to going very late into that hairpin. See his contact with Michael Pacheco earlier, but he makes the move on CJ Conklin and gets back up to 4th.
Yeah, fair play there. That was a good, honest move, that one as well. Doug Sorrentino is looking to try and catch a little bit of lap traffic here. That's Joshua Travis just ahead of him. Indeed, Maxwell Budd right behind. As, yep, Joshua Travis pretty much dives out of that. And that's debris being kicked up, Reese. Indeed, a little bit of sand, a little bit of gravel being kicked up there. As Doug Sorrentino, he's led this thing from start to finish in terms of class, but had to make his way through the TCR field. Indeed, as it looks like they're going for one more lap.
Yep, that's the final lap. Sorrentino crossed the line with just 3 seconds remaining on the clock. So now the pressure's on here. Oh, that's a bit of a wide entry into turn 2. He's got to be careful. Maxwell Budd is going to mount an attack now. This is the exact spot where Budd needs to do it. If we can stay on board with him through this section, though, you'll see where Doug Sorrentino gets his advantage. A lot of curb usage, wider turn in, on the power a little better. Look at the gap that he pulls there.
Absolutely huge there. Definitely a little bit more confidence through the curve, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, is it going to be Pierce Fox an opportunity now? Sorrentino's checked out. He's about a second ahead, but Pierce Fox is breathing down the back of that Mercedes.
Indeed, Sorrentino, you didn't see it from our angle, but he was flashing the lights in the lead, and you can't see it again, but Pierce Fox just flashed the lights at Maxwell Budd. He's trying his best to make up any gain he possibly can. Sorrentino's going to encounter one more TCR on his run up to the line, making his way past Quinn Manders, but it's going to be the win in GT4 for Doug Sorrentino. Budd and Fox were pressuring him the whole way. It wasn't an out-and-out flinging it up the inside every corner battle, but it was mighty intense the whole way through.
Yeah, definitely fair play to Indeed. They definitely kept him honest. Emrit Pastrana going to be the next car to bring it over the line. Definitely some interesting behavior. Honestly, at this point, I think he's trying to drift the car around the track, and you know what? If he's having fun, why not, buddy? Why not?
Yeah, indeed. The Mustang is a bit of a drift machine, and Tommy Polte was making up some time in Emrit Vestrala towards the end. Will have to settle for 5th, but still a nice consistent drive from the number 26. Javi Sierra is going to take the win in TCR. That has been basically the story of the season for the Aero Kinetics driver. It's been a fantastic performance from him all season, and I think he may have done enough to effectively claim the TCR title a round early. Andrew Garov is going to finish in 2nd place. A fantastic finish for him, with Michael Pacheco, the first of the brand new Audi RS3s to make their way across the line and round out the TCR podium.
And Scott Laurenti there, bringing it over the line in 4th. Absolutely incredible stuff here, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed we are going to get your race results underway. Starting with the GT4s.
Yes, our top 5 in GT4 finishing ahead of our TCR field. Sorrentino, Bud and Fox were your podium. Vestrala and Polte half a minute behind our podium there. The real mix-up of the classes playing a part in that. Joshua Travis, Jack Minter and Chris Scheusler finishing a lap down, with Sean Phillips having to take repairs 2 laps down for the Mustang driver, which is a shame to see. Would have been interesting to see what he could do if he avoided the damage. In TCR, Javi Sierra wins by 16.6 seconds over Andrew Garov. Michael Pacheco just behind, but was making up some good gains in those final laps. Scott Laurenti, last car to finish on the lead lap in TCR, and then we saw Quinn Manders, CJ Conklin and Pete Geggi finish a lap down. Shame in particular for Pete Geggi, it all came undone for him at the pit stop.
Indeed it did, but Reese, I understand you've been able to catch up with our GT4 winner. It's Doug Sorrentino.
Yeah, it was a bit of a crazy one, Doug. Not only a shorter layout of Miami than I was expecting, but it seems the TCRs and GT4s are incredibly well matched around this place.
They were. Honestly, I didn't realize the pace gap, or honestly thereof a pace gap. And we were like maybe 3 to 5 seconds faster than them. And you know, those twisty bits, they really you know, showed what that front wheel drive car can really do around here.
Indeed. It also seemed like there was a bit of a tit for tat between yourself and Maxwell Budd over the course of the lap. The chicane, turns 4, 5, and 6 was where you made the most gains there. It's really a great demonstration of where slow in, fast out works.
Yeah, you know, the nice thing about these street circuits is you know where the track limits are. It's that concrete wall, so I don't have to worry about going over to the grass. As long as I don't hit the wall, you know, it's fine. We're hitting lap times.
Yeah, indeed you are. Well, once again, another win on the cards for you. Just one more round to go after this. The season is about to conclude. I think you must be happy with your overall performance thus far.
Yeah, you know, did pretty decent. Had a couple unfortunate incidents, but you know, what is a race season without incidents, right?
Yes, indeed. But regardless, largely incident-free for you up the front. You take the win at Miami, Doug. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
That was Doug Sorrentino there, winner of the GT4 category. And Zippy, I understand you've caught up with second place, Maxwell Budd.
Well, I've got to say, Max, you definitely keep keeping these guys consistent. Indeed, you've got pressure behind from Pierce Fox, and indeed pressure ahead in the form of Doug Sorrentino, and indeed that Hello Kitty machine, whichever variety it may be. But certainly Miami, definitely a challenging circuit. How did you feel about this particular venue?
You know, I like this track. I think it's a fun track, especially in that layout. But man, I was struggling with a bunch of understeer. Couldn't get the car to rotate, and I'd close in on Doug and start overheating my tires, and then Fox was catching me. So it was a stressful race for sure.
Well, definitely, I can understand that. Indeed, it's not on the Princess Approved track list, but Maxwell, I've got to say, we're looking forward to seeing you here in the GT3s next. How do you think that's going to go down? Obviously, a bit more power, a bit more aero, and indeed a lot more cars. What are your predictions for the final race of the night?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of these guys, Crone, Wilford, Zart, are really fast, so I have to just try and keep my head down and try and do as good as I can.
Well, certainly, Maxwell, we are indeed going to wish you the best of luck as you do indeed head over. But before you do, is there anybody you'd like to shout out for today's performance?
I'd like to shout out my team, Gulf Coast Sims and the boys there, and then my girlfriend who's watching.
Quick question, Gulf Coast Sims, would that be a sim cafe by chance?
No, it's a company that Andrew Garov and Michael Pacheco created. It's just like a sim racing league that we just, you know, try and get as many people into sim racing as we can, and just try and, you know, invite and be welcoming to everybody.
Well, certainly fair play to you for doing that. Indeed, Maxwell Bird representing Gulf Coast Sims, and indeed second place today here in the GT4 class.
All right, thanks guys.
Lovely stuff from Maxwell Budd, really dialing the pressure in on Doug Sorrentino. Pierce Fox finished third place in the GT4 category, and he is going to join us now. Honestly, Pierce, the Cayman looked very nice around this layout of Miami, but those two Mercs up the front proved very hard to keep up with.
Yeah, those guys are always fast, and it's always a challenge to be able to keep pace with them. I feel like I would have had a better chance if I would stop understeering into the last corner, but I'll make more practice next week.
Yeah, indeed. You're going to be one of many drivers doing double duty today. You're evidently, from the background sounds, already practicing in your BMW for the GT3 race. A different layout, though. The GT3 race seems to be running the Grand Prix layout of this circuit, so it's a little bit of extra mental load having to deal with two layouts on one night.
Yeah, it's a little different, but I mean, I welcome it. I like the Grand Prix layout, so...
Well, wishing you the best of luck for that, Pierce. Is there anyone else you want to thank before we let you go?
No, I'm...
All right, fair enough. Pierce Fox, third place in GT4, and owing it all to himself, apparently. Final driver interview from these cars. We got a couple of our TCRs in here. I believe Andrew Garov is the one you've caught up with, Zippy.
Well, I've got to say, Andrew, definitely good to get you here and indeed in the booth. Certainly, it's been a little bit of a challenge for you at times, but able to get a solid P2 here today at Miami.
Yeah, I was really excited about it. I've been pushing. There's some tight battles still season, you've probably seen in the points, so that really helped. Got some practice and locked in the new physics update. Really catered towards the way I like to drive the car, so just really happy that it didn't make it the other way and crashing into the wall. So just really had a good time out there.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you could feel the car drives a bit differently? Myself, not had a chance not driving the TCRs often enough. Maybe you can give me a little bit of a quick review.
So best way to describe, I think, is the front end feels more responsive to your inputs, and as long as you don't get the tires too hot, kind of like the other one. If you cook the front tires, you just slide off every corner. But it definitely likes the light braking, front brake bias. Feels like you can kick the rear end around a little more without losing it. So as the rear tires hit the ground, you can kind of feel them like scrub and want to catch the rear end so you don't lose control. So those are probably the two major things I noticed. So you can get a little more wild with your inputs.
Certainly sounds like a lot of fun. But Andrew, we are indeed going to leave you to it, as we're going to be seeing you here in just a few short moments for the GT3 class. Congratulations on the P2, and hopefully we'll see you making another podium appearance this evening.
Definitely, for sure. Thank you, guys.
Attaboy. Ladies and gentlemen, that was indeed Andrew Garoff. As I do understand, Reese Gardner, you know, catch up with Michael Pacheco.
P3 in the TCRs in the end, Michael, but it wasn't an entirely smooth road there. Mr. Laurenti getting into the back of you in the hairpin, which forced an early pit stop.
Yeah, I'd be lying to you guys if I wasn't pretty hot about that whole incident. Mostly with Pete Jedge. I don't know what he was doing. He dove back from two cars back and basically kind of set off a chain reaction from there.
Yeah, fair enough. Obviously, TCR is always a close category, and so some desperate moves are sometimes required. But regardless, you still managed to recover for a podium, which is a pretty impressive run around a race that I think was majorly affected by the GT4s.
Yeah, a little bit. The temperatures kind of skyrocketed right after qualifying, so I know that threw off the pace quite a bit. But other than that, you know, I just kind of put my head down after that happened and just chipped away at everything. I knew if people weren't fuel saving, they were going to have to pit stop. So I was counting on that to get my positions back.
Well, you're currently qualifying the GT3, so we're going to leave you to it, Michael. Best of luck in the McLaren.
All right. Thank you.
Michael Pacheco there, third place in the TCR category. And with that, Zippy, we're going to go off the air for a couple of moments while we prepare for the GT3 race to come.
you ready? Ladies and gentlemen.
You're watching the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championships here on Pit Road Productions, the second last round of the season at Miami International Autodrome. We are regaining a sense of normality as we're back at the Grand Prix layout for the GT3 race. 40 minutes ahead of us with a required pit stop, and my goodness, the pace has really come up in intensity. We're looking for some fantastic runs throughout this grid. Couple of drivers further up that we did not expect to see that far up, so it's going to be quite interesting to see if they can keep that up over the course of the race to come. Once again, I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box. Zippy, looking forward to the GT3 race. This is a difficult circuit to tackle, but these drivers can certainly do it.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be an absolute belter. Certainly, it was pretty good with the TCRs, indeed the GT4s, but the GT3 race always ends to be that little bit more competitive, a little bit more spicy. Indeed, a few more cars as well. We've gone from 16 cars up to 28, ladies and gentlemen, 26, 27. Certainly, it's a sufficient amount more, and indeed the walls here not exactly offering the most forgiveness, but certainly. Myself, never driven this track, but I've definitely watched a good couple of streamers do it. Certainly, Swelly looked like he had a lot of fun here in the GR86. And I gotta say, it looks like it does provide some really quality racing. But right now, qualifying is very much underway. But before we get into that, let's take a look here at the championship standings.
So Alex Zart has led the way pretty much the whole season, and he maintains a lead of 22 points over Bryce Crone, with Maxwell Budd in third spot. Not too far behind is Joshua Wilford, who's been searching for a consistent run of results this season. I don't see Wilford on the grid for today's race, though, so he is going to miss out on points there. That'll give a nice free kick to Chris Bracetti and Manuel Sandoval, who round out the top six, with Pierce Fox, Emmerich Estrella, Matt Jones and Javi Sierra rounding out the top 10 in the GTD Pro standings. In GTD, meanwhile, we have a close fight once again for Ben Millick and Jack Minter. They are separated by 21 points, but I gotta say, all it's going to take is a bad result for Ben Millick, and Jack Minter could have a chance at going for the title in the final round next week. Wilton Palermo, Kenneth Narvaez, and Michael Clark round out the top five, and it's only 7 points back to Jay Williams. Quinn Manders in seventh, Tommy Polte and Michael Belair equal on 231 points, and Andrew Garov, who we just saw finishing second in the TCR race earlier, rounding out the top 10 in GTD. Qualifying is on, and we're getting ready to decide who starts on pole position for this one. It's been a pretty good performance from Kenneth Narvaez. He held provisional pole for a few moments, but right now falls to this man, Bryce Crone.
Indeed, Bryce has been an absolute weapon so far this season. And indeed, the Real Street guys have been, at times, definitely a little bit aggressive, but entertaining nonetheless. But certainly, we got to see a little bit too much curb there, potentially there, as Bryce Crone. You know what? He's the quickest one here right now. He's doing a 154.81, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he's got that pole pretty much closed out by about 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second almost as well. But certainly credit where due, Kevin Narvaez, absolutely astonishing time there. 1857 iRating, and that is not stopping him at all. He's he won in the M class, the GTD class. And indeed, his next series competition is Tommy Polte. He's currently down in 8th.
Yeah, very good performance in the Mercedes from the number 16 of Narvaez. He's probably going to be a good camera car for an onboard lap here. 3 minutes left in the session, which should be more than enough time to get things done around this lap. The Miami International Autodrome, the Grand Prix layout for the GT3 event. So you're going to be noticing a few differences versus the TCRs and GT4s. It's a short run into turn 1. You brake at about the 100 marker into second gear for the first corner, and then try your best to manage the power as you make your way through turns 2 and 3. Right here is where the layout for TCR and GT4 cuts left, but they continue on straight down to this very challenging S's section. Much faster entry than you expect here. You can really carry the speed and go across those curbs. They're not even really curbs. They're just paint on the road marking the bounds of the circuit. This is a really challenging corner, this one. Tightening up on the exit. You've got to be so careful not to collect the barrier. Looks like Kenneth Narvaez may not be too happy with how this lap is going for him, but he's going to commit anyway. Down the back stretch towards the hairpin, Zippy. This is where the track really gets technical.
Yeah, certainly myself definitely would struggle here. It looked like you got to try and brake and corner at the same time, which is definitely a challenging scenario. Indeed, trail braking will be a skill you're going to want here as he does go into a absolutely extreme braking zone down into the left-hander, makes his way and starts heading around the long right-hander. I've got to say that the stadium a little bit less packed than that, I hope, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly you here in Miami, we should have had a full stand, ladies and gentlemen. We got the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship here, but indeed, as he makes his way through another chicane, ladies and gentlemen, indeed, absolutely challenging course, and certainly but one that's literally been designed with high performance in mind.
Yeah, it's a really awkward chicane, and you actually can't quite see the apex of the right-hander of that chicane from inside the cockpit. The bollard really helps you out there. But now Narvaez is picking his braking point for the final hairpin. It's a ridiculously long back stretch. You're braking just before the 100 marker. Super hard, all the way down into first gear, and out you go. From the final corners, it's flat out through the last 2 turns, but it appears he's not going to commit to it, making a pit stop, and that's pit entry. That could be a deciding factor here today, that little chicane on the way into the pits. Obviously, a pit stop required in the GT3 race, so you'll have to practice that pit entry.
Indeed, this is a driver. He's currently gone purple in Sector 1. Is he going to be enough, though? He's currently there in P10 overall, 4th in class. Indeed, he's going to take it. He's made his way up to 4th overall, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed 1st in the GTD class. Kenneth Narvaez has been toppled off the top.
Lovely stuff from Kevin Rosario. And it's going to be a 4th overall start for him if he can hold on to that. Javi Sierra making improvements as well, goes 12th fastest. Alex Zart here on his final lap, and it'll be interesting to see if the Lamborghini driver will be able to topple Bryce Crone from the top of the standings. Look at the way he's taking that ever-tightening corner. It's a little bit wide on the way in, though. Didn't quite hit the apex, so Alex may not be able to overcome him. It's an incredible gap that Crone actually holds on to. 0.37 is the gap for pole. So Alex Zart really needs to nail this final half of the lap if he wants any chance at starting at the front.
Yeah, he's going to have to pull something out there. I'm actually just admiring his lighting, actually. That's making me pretty happy, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I do want to do some renovations here on the office of Pit Road Productions, which is nothing more than a bedroom, which honestly, I love my mum dearly, but I have no idea what she was thinking when she painted this room purple and yellow. Questionable taste there. Like, I'm frowned upon as interior designer, don't get me wrong, but purple and yellow? Really? As Zart
keep the yellow.
Aborted, yeah, keep the yellow, Pit Road Productions colours, but Zart's aborted the lap.
Yeah, looks like he's going to take no further part in the session, and, well, the checkered flag has flown. So it seems that the majority of the field has been decided. Have a look at Jay Williams' Sector 2, though. He's purple in the middle of the lap. Kerry Corcoran's going to be one of the drivers to finish off the session here. But let's keep an eye out for Jay Williams in the BMW. Incredible run through the second sector. Let's see what he can do to gain anything else on the way up to the line. He gains 2 spots and moves up into 8th. That's a solid performance there.
Indeed, it is definitely a good move there as well. Certainly good to see these guys are back. Doug Sorrentino not racing this one, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be back in the race control. But Maxwell Budd, he was a little worried coming into this. He's put it on P3.
Yeah. Great stuff from Maxwell Budd. The 008 is going to start in P3 for this one. Just got a couple more cars to come across the line. We have Dustin Warren here, currently 16th, but he's setting personal best sectors on this lap. So let's see if he manages to move up any. Across the line he comes, and that's a big jump there from 16th up to 11th. Right at the end of the session is when you need to make those improvements. That's exactly what he did.
Yeah, managed to shave 7/10 of a second off that lap. What about Sean O'Brien, though? He's not managed to make it under the 2-minute marker just yet. So indeed, the opportunity is ahead of him. Actually, doesn't look like he's got a he's got no colour for any of the sectors, ladies and gentlemen, at least that's for this lap. Anyway, what's he going to be able to do here at that number 21 Porsche? Indeed, he's going there through the left-hander, and I have a feeling that may have been an off-track there, Reese.
Yeah, and I also have the feeling that this lap is not going to count because he crossed the line after the checkered flag had flown. He's just getting as much track time as he can, I believe, towards the end of the lap. He just passed the Sector 1 line, but I don't think this lap is going to amount to much.
Yeah, track time, I think I misheard you. Screen time, I think is what you're looking for, Reese.
No, track time.
I'm calling
He is
him
on
out.
the track.
Screen time. Screen time. Fair play. Fair
Track
play.
time.
Screen time. But ladies and gentlemen, what would matter more to you, getting an extra lap in or being here on the Pit Road Productions broadcast? For me, that's a pretty cut and dried result, but we can tell you that the grid is indeed now sorted.
It is indeed, and Bryce Crone is going to be starting on pole position with championship leader Alex Zart alongside him, Maxwell Budd and Kevin Rosario. On row 2, Rosario taking pole in the GTD class, though he seems to be listed as GTD Pro in the session. Kevin Narvaez is going to start in 5th place alongside Michael Belair. Pierce Fox and Jay Williams are your 4th row. Manuel Sandoval and Chris Brassetti rounding out the top 10. Good performance from Chris there.
Yeah, having a look there in P11, it's going to be Dustin Warren, a solid improvement at the end of that qualifying session in 12th place. Actually, really good result there for Tommy Polte. He's going to take 12. Looking back at 13th, Jack Minter yet again proving that iRating means nothing when it comes to a GT3. He's there in 14th with Wilton Palermo alongside. We've got to check out his camera as well. I have a feeling he may have indeed dressed not as a banana this week, but as something else. We'll keep an eye out on for him as well. Absolutely. Power to him indeed. He takes 15th with Michael Pacheco in 16th. Pete Jeji, he's back again with 17th place, and Amrit Pastrana again a little bit out of sorts there. He's there in 18th with Matt Jones in 19th, and indeed Michael Clark rounding out your top 20.
Second Lamborghini in the field is Michael Clark. Kerry Corcoran in the Stars and Stripes Porsche will start in 21st place. Sean Phillips alongside him. Quinn Manders and Joshua Travis, your 12th row. Then it's CJ Conklin and Sean O'Brien, with Andrew Garov being the last car to take to the start. Doug Sorrentino, of course, serving in race control for this one, just coming off winning the GT4 race a mere quarter of an hour ago. All right. Let's get this formation lap rolling. We will see the field get a slow motion tour around the Miami International Autodrome. I think it'll give us a chance to think about the foibles and pitfalls of this track in a little more detail. The track temperature is looking pretty cool at the moment. It being March in the Northern Hemisphere, we're just coming out of winter, so only 24 degrees Celsius track temperature. That's solidly in the mid-70s Fahrenheit, so I think that's optimum conditions here.
Yeah, definitely a nice... it's warm enough you don't need a sweater, ladies and gentlemen, but not too warm that you're going to barbecue the tyres. Indeed, that is the 190 Mr. Bryce Crone there. Trying to get a little bit of heat into those tyres as well. Alex definitely had a rough couple of weeks indeed. Are we going to see a little bit of a return from him? Certainly I feel for him. He's got 2 Real Street guys right alongside. And actually, speaking of Real Street, Ben Mellick missing this week. I do believe he is travelling for work. Speaking of missing as well, Joshua Wilford, last I heard, he had not felt well for quite some time. So Josh, if you're watching, I do hope you're indeed back on your feet, buddy.
Yeah, get well soon, Mr. Wilford. We do miss you. It's always a fun time seeing you in these races. It's not just tire temperature they have to worry about, it's brake temperature as well. They're going to be stomping on those brakes pretty much instantly off the start for that run into turn 1, but keeping our eye on this S's section, it's going to be very easy to cut the track in that corner in particular, as well as this left-hander. Once again, the curbs are barely curbs at all in that part of the circuit. They're just painted. So it's very easy to overrun them, but a really nice aerial view of that ever-tightening left-hander here. You know, I've driven plenty of laps around this track myself, Zippy, and that's the one corner that I can never get right.
Quick question for you though, Reese. Do you have a not-so-serious track guide for it?
Oh, I certainly plan to do one.
Attaboy.
But that will depend on the on how the vote goes. I've restarted the old pattern that I had, wherein my Patreon supporters vote on what the next Super Serious track guide will be from a list. I'm going to be adding Miami to that list. There's plenty of jokes I can make about this place.
Indeed, I'm certainly looking forward to it. And by all means, give Reese Gardner a little bit of a subscribe as well. A little bit. You can't really half a subscription, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, go and check out Southpaw Race on YouTube. Give them some love. And like I said, it's not, you don't go there for the completely serious part of it. It's worth a watch. It made me smile, and certainly I'm happy to support my comrade in the booth.
Thank you very much, Sippy. I do serious content as well. My next video is going to be a video on the history of Silverstone, so keep an eye out for that later on in the week.
One condition.
Regardless.
One condition. Please don't try and do a British accent. You're going to, aren't you?
Yeah, there is a skit. There is a skit I have planned. Little bit of an old-timey British accent. The 1950s, we're racing at Silverstone, blah, 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 blah.
But,
okay. All right, we better get our brains back on track here, Zippy. They're on the back stretch. They're about to take the start here for the second last round of the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship in the GT3 class. Krone, certainly the pace setter in qualifying. Alex Zart has been trying to defend that championship lead these last couple of rounds, but it hasn't always been smooth sailing, as you said earlier on in this formation lap. This first lap here at Miami is going to be crucial for him.
Oh, my dear boy, Reese, it absolutely has not. I've got to say, we're in for an absolutely spiffing race here at Miami. How's that?
Don't you know, old chap? They're going to go through the final corner and take the start here.
I'm going to have to make a cameo appearance on your channel, I think, Reese. If you're desperate enough for entertainment, it could be a good giggle.
Yeah, potentially. Get my cough out of the way. Let's go. All right, green flag with Krone in the front row here with Alex Zart. Very slow here at the end of the formation lap, waiting for the pace car to come in, and now a bit of a concertina as Krone puts the power down, and we are away for the green flag. And look at that, Alex Zart already under pressure. Oh my goodness, that's looking interesting. Oh, that's going to send Maxwell Budd into Alex Zart. Zart gets away from it, but Budd does not. There's a bit of a pile-up going on there in turn one. Budd's descended down the order to 22nd. I saw one of the Real Street Mercedes suffering oversteer as well. The yellow flag has been thrown.
Good call.
Oh, chaos at turn one. Corcoran and Manders involved in that too. Rosario as well. Kevin Rosario, after such a great qualifying performance, he had to tow it back to pit lane after that.
Well, I have a feeling, as much as I love the guy's aggression, I think he may have been involved in an accident. We'll take a quick look here in just a second.
Yeah, indeed we will.
Oh, that's afterwards.
Yes, it is. That's Rosario.
Oh, boom, that's Michael Clark.
Oh no. Yeah,
Ouch.
Michael Clark absolutely cleaning him up there. Cold tires, and it looked like Rosario got a bit too far onto the curb at turn 3. He did make his way out of this incident that we're about to see on board with here. I understand the aggression. Turn 1, probably one of the best times to make moves, but yeah, that's completely on Kevin there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can't really defend him in that one, and even then, we'll call it how we see it, ladies and gentlemen. I think the punishment has in some ways already been served, though. He has picked up a meatball flag, but looking now at the standings, that's absolutely shocking for Maxwell Budd. He's down 20 positions. He really did get the short straw in that scenario. Indeed, taking a look through the rest of the order, though, was there any big gainers? I guess so. This gentleman, Andrew Garov, he's up 7 positions from the start.
Yep, starting from the very back. And taking advantage, obviously making up at least 3 positions from the cars that spun on the opening lap.
Yeah, take a look at Michael Clark's car.
Ooh, yeah, that's not ideal.
That's
he will certainly. Yeah, no mechanical black flag for him, incidentally, but I think the damage may be a little bit too great to make it around at racing speed. He will have to bring that into the pits, and considering that the pit window for this series... Oh my god. Look at that! Look at the amount of hit the wheels more than 90 degrees to the right! How has he not gotten a mechanical black flag?
At this point, I feel he needs to open a seafood restaurant because that car's got crabs.
Oh my lord. Well, having to pit this early remains to be seen whether or not he'll be able to make it to the end without having to make another pit stop. I think Michael Clark is going to have to bank on potentially another caution coming out to regain some spots here. But he'll make his way into pit lane. Yeah, at the end of this lap, it will be a little early as the pace car has only just come out to catch the leaders. Clark has to bring it into pit lane, but this being run to oval racing caution rules, I would guess that he's going to get an end-of-line penalty for entering a closed pit lane. Same for Matt Jones as well, who has to take a new front bumper.
Yeah, a little bit of damage there on the Acura. That was definitely a little bit too much of an aggression on the race start. Don't get me wrong, entertaining nonetheless, but let's see if we can get a couple more views of it as well, see who else got involved.
Well, Doug Sorrentino not mincing his words here. In the InSim log for posting incident reviews, the number 7, Kevin Rosario, black flagged for killing is literally what Doug Sorrentino has put in the chat. Yeah. It was there has been a murder. Call the police.
Yeah, certainly the Real Street Effect Vodka team definitely, it was a questionable move, that one, and race control very much inclined to agree.
It looks like Pete Geggi in the number 27 has also gotten a drive-through penalty for causing an incident on lap 1, and it would appear that we missed that in the midst of all of the chaos at the front.
Well, here you go. Let's go on board with him from his race start.
Right, so closes up there. Michael Clark getting up the inside, as well as that's Matt Jones. I think that he turned around there, and Kerry Corcoran. So yeah, that's the reason why we saw Jones and Corcoran spun.
Yeah, that's
Geggi
more.
also seems carrying a bit too much speed there on the way into the caution period. Another review of the start here. Kenneth Narvaez's view of everything. He was not able to sneak around this. Maxwell Budd spinning ahead of him and to take to the runoff area. But yeah, that's good incident avoidance there from Narvaez. It did cost him some track position, but at least he still has a clean car.
Yeah, that was absolutely
just
fantastic.
avoided Rosario too.
Absolutely fantastic stuff by Narvaez.
Very nicely done. Well,
that was colourful.
One Real Street car is out of the race, but Bryce Crone is going to still find himself in the lead here, and this caution period should be coming to an end at the end of the next lap. Good time to get the heat back into those tires. We haven't really gotten a proper start to this race just yet, but we will surely get one soon. Other gainers in the field, looks like Sean Phillips, Joshua Travis, and Sean O'Brien have made their way up 6 spots each. Pierce Fox and Jay Williams making their way up 4 places apiece, and they round out our overall top 4 right now.
Yeah, definitely some interesting moves happening here as we're going to keep an eye on this pace car as well and see. Yep, it looks like, the lights are going out. We're going to be going green next lap by.
And Pierce Fox has come into pit lane. Looks like with this caution period, he will fill the car back up and maybe try to make it to the end of the race again without stopping. He's joined in the pits by Pete Geggi, who obviously has the black flag to serve. Kevin Rosario, it appears, has made his way back out of pit lane as well. He's managed to get his repairs done after the tow.
Well, it does look as well, not only does Pete Geggi have a black flag, it does look like that car's in the air as well. So I have a feeling he is indeed pretty much put an end to his race as well back in P25.
Yes. Been a rough run for Pete Geggi in the GT3 race. Looks like the best result of the night for him is going to be that second place in... Oh, sorry, no. He didn't finish second in TCR, though he was running quite well in TCR up until the pit stop went wrong for him very late on in the running. A rough go of things. Hopefully the final round goes a bit better for all the drivers, both involved in and affected by those opening lap incidents. So, still got pit stops owed by the vast majority of the field. Jones, Clark, and Fox have all gotten service done. About 12 to 13 seconds is the stop time for all of them, and that tells me that they've gotten enough fuel in to potentially make it to the end of the race. Remains to be seen, though.
Yeah, it certainly does. And indeed, let's keep an eye out here from this man, Michael Belair. I have a feeling can really capitalize on this opportunity. Don't get me wrong, he's got Chris Bracetti behind him. He's not afraid to go for a race with Jay Williams himself. Both having some good solid results here. That is the leader of the GTD class going up against the GTD Pro.
Yes, indeed, Jay Williams. He could potentially be on for his best result of the season if he can hold on to this position. That BMW certainly seems to agree with the Miami International Autodrome. Another slow motion tour through this chicane under the freeway ramp. It's such an awkward corner, this. Like, the curb is especially brutal, but the fact that from a cockpit view you can't really see that apex, it means that it's another one of those corners around this place that I can never get right when I'm behind the wheel. I'm frankly impressed that these guys have been able to do it.
Indeed, certainly fair play to him. There is a lot of talent in this league as well. Certainly, we're having a quick look at iRatings. Highest one I'm seeing tonight, 3,911. That's Doug Sorrentino. He's in race control, so indeed, definitely the most qualified person here. But Manuel Sandoval rocking 3,505. Indeed, some very potent there. Actually, I'm going to take a guess here. Strength of field probably in the high 1900 range, Reese.
Low 1900, actually. 1916. But once again, you weren't too far off.
Solid guess.
Zippy math is close enough.
Yeah, fair.
Oh, hello.
That's actually surprising. Where's he going?
That might be a wave around for Kevin Rosario. The caution has been shortened, but Kevin Rosario has been let by for a wave around very quickly. He will be back on the lead lap, but not by much. Let's see then as the restart happens here. Very early getaway from Bryce Crone. Alex Zart under pressure from Jay Williams as they get back up to speed coming into the opening turns. Seeing the cars fan out a little bit in the background. An inside move almost from Kenneth Narvaez, but he manages to hold on to 6th place for the moment. Michael Belair racing well with Chris Bracetti, and it's side by side between the Mercedes and the Porsche of Warren and Minter. Back to the McLaren of Michael Pacheco. Got Maxwell Budd making the move around the outside of them into the S's.
Yeah, certainly Budd's going to be on the recovery run just here. Indeed, he's down 13 positions from the start, but with all this traffic, just what is there for passing opportunities as well? Kerry Corcoran looking to try and capitalize as well. As I see a little bit of movement further up through the field. Meanwhile, though, Bryce Crone managed to pull away a solid 1 second gap. Alex Art's clear of second as well of Jay Williams, who's pretty much got the rest of the pack right behind him. As I say that, though, another 1 second gap between Kenneth Narvaez and indeed Manuel Sandoval.
Yeah, so some pretty big gaps forming already around this circuit. But the next overtaking opportunity here at the hairpin, dive from the Mercedes of Dustin Warren. Tommy Polte is going to hold on to that one in the Corvette, or is he? Side by side through this never-ending right-hander. Warren picks up the power a little earlier and completes the move, and now Jack Minter takes great advantage of that, moves up the inside on the run into the chicane, which isn't traditionally an overtaking spot.
Oh, dear!
Oh,
that's
Bracetti! Oh, jinx. Chris Bracetti will ultimately find a whole wall of cars ahead of him having to take avoiding action from that. Very easy to lose the rear end into that left-hander.
I gotta say, sheer testament to the guys that they were able to get around that. But right now, Bryce Crone, he's lost a little bit of time here to Alex Zart. Zart is on the pursuit, ladies and gentlemen. Meanwhile, though, back in the midfield, Kerry Corcoran's starting to get into it with Pierce Fox alongside.
Move up the inside, and he gets into the Acura of Matt Jones, and it looks like that slowed up all of them there. Pete Geggi just sneaking through, but Kerry Corcoran has fallen back hard from that, and Pierce Fox getting involved in that as well. That's not ideal. A bit of damage now on the Stars and Stripes Porsche for Get Lucky Racing. That's going to be quite difficult for Kerry going forward. Hasn't taken his pit stop yet, so he'll be suffering for a while. Michael Clark, meanwhile, has caught up to Chris Brassetti, and Clark has managed to get repairs done on his Lamborghini. He is hoping that he'll be able to last the distance.
Yeah, he also has a slowdown he needs to get rid of pretty quickly as well. Kevin Rosario still showing us a black flag for me. Indeed, I think he may have left. Nope, he's still there, but still showing a black flag. Don't know if you can see anything in your end, Reese.
Yeah, well, I can see that he's Doug Sorrentino gave him a stop and go for passing under safety car while not allowed. I mean, this is one of those awkward issues where the intention of race control runs opposite to how the iRacing caution system works. I think he might have. I think Rosario might have gotten the message to pass everybody and unlap himself as the waiver rounds began, but I'm not entirely sure on that. A bit of confusion that's been going on here.
Yeah, definitely. As we take a look here at the front of the field, indeed, Alex Zar has lost a bit more time here to the back of Bryce Crow, and that gap definitely varying depending on where they are in circuit. I do have a feeling here that the Mercedes may be a little bit of a tax up, as Kerry Corcoran has picked up a black flag now.
Yes, that is race control assigned for missing the brake marker and causing the incident down at the hairpin. So Kerry Corcoran's going to have a 5-second stop and go added to him for that one. Of course, Doug Sorrentino using the iRace Control software, which we showcased yesterday, in fact, in the iRace Control 3 Hours of Sebring. A fantastic system that helps to make it easier for you to admin your event. Corcoran's going to jump in and serve that stop and go with Andrew Garov now, trying his best to make up a move on Pete Jeji. That's nice to see the Podium 1 logo on the rear bumper of the Porsche, and it would appear that Jeji getting an excellent run out of those opening turns. Not much that Garov can do versus that.
I mean, you just try and get a little bit of advertisement and he just runs away with it. I gotta say, I mean, it's valid, but we could have him holding back a little bit here. But let's take a look at as Amrit Pastrana. Certainly in later races, he just hasn't had his usual form. And this is a guy I'm expecting to see challenging for the podium. Right now, Wilton Palermo, we've got to check his camera. Indeed, he's applying a good amount of pressure here to the driver, the number 88.
Yeah, Amrit Pastrana in a Porsche. We usually expect him in a Mercedes in the GT3. I wonder if there's been an error on car selection there. Early turn in for the hairpin, though, for Pastrana. He's going to put a bit more distance between himself and Wilton Palermo, who unfortunately is not wearing his banana suit this round. Hopefully we get another outfit for the final round of the season. Palermo up 3 spots and trying his best to make up that time to the cars ahead. Pretty much everyone from 3rd to 12th has made up at least one position.
Disqualification for Rosario. He's been disqualified.
Okay, and official reasoning is for causing a collision. So Kevin Rosario has not had a good round today, and I'm sure that he'll be feeling a bit down about that for a while. Fortunately, still a round to go, so he'll be able to at least make his way through to the final round. Sean Phillips up 6 spots into 16th place, got Michael Pacheco and Pierce Fox chasing him. Remember, Pierce Fox has already taken his pit service under the caution period, so he could stand a chance to gain quite a bit as the race goes forward.
Honestly, I think Pierce Fox has pulled rabbit out of the hat on this one. Indeed, he's now got a little bit of clean air. He's got a bit of space. He doesn't have the same kind of traffic around him. And not only that, he's got Pacheco ahead to try and save some fuel. This could be an absolutely golden opportunity here for the driver of the number 24.
Certainly could. He's managed to avoid getting damage. He was in and around the incident with Kerry Corcoran, I believe. So some good avoidance there. Pacheco a little bit wide through the ever-tightening left-hander as they pass underneath the chairlift next to Hard Rock Stadium. Pacheco running in VR, and so he'll have a good view around some of these corners, but a lot of them are blind around this place, so the challenge just increases. Looks like the Corvette ahead of him, of Sean Phillips, braking a little earlier, and he himself braked a little earlier than Pierce Fox did. This gap is compressing.
Yeah, certainly if I'm looking at the lap time pace as well, Pierce Fox has now got a different kind of problem. He's much quicker than these two guys. He's lapping in the 156 region. The two guys ahead of him are in the 59s. Actually, to find a 56.3 or indeed a 56 at all, he has to compare himself to Maxwell Budd, who's currently in 12th place. This mastermind pit strategy may indeed end up being his undoing if he's not going to get past the traffic quickly. And there's a flash there.
Yes, indeed. So, here they come down the back straight as the fastest lap of the race goes to Kenneth Narvaez, 155.4. Is his current quickest as Fox dives up the inside of Pacheco. Oh, dearie me. That was a little bit borderline there, but enough room was given, and they'll keep the battle going into the opening corner. Looks like Fox just letting Pacheco go there, recognizing that the race is going to come to him, but nevertheless, he will try to unsettle the McLaren.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those where, like, look here, oh my gosh, that's actually damage to the side pod there of the McLaren. Indeed, I think Pacheco says, you know what, I'm pretty much done fighting this guy at this point. As I say that, he's still trying to keep him honest. These guys separate by less than 10 seconds. Pacheco does not appear to be giving up. He does not care. He wants a piece of Pierce Fox.
Certainly does. But Pierce will try to dispatch him quickly and make his way further forward to Sean Phillips. Still got pit stops coming for the majority of the field, so the positions should come to Pierce Fox pretty easily from here. Have a look at the run that Pacheco's gotten out of the corner there. He's going to pick up the slipstream off the BMW and try to dive up the inside.
I got a feeling this is going to end badly, Reese. I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll see. We'll see if you're right in the end, Zippy. The McLaren a little bit later on the brakes. No, a little bit earlier on the brakes. Pierce Fox maintaining the outside line, but Pacheco just ahead at the exit. Fortunately for Fox, the track blends to the right, and he'll be able to get the geometric faster line and keep the position.
These guys are absolutely duking out. Don't get me wrong, we've got other battles on the race right now, but indeed this one absolutely fantastic. A little bit of a wiggle there from Pacheco, but indeed he's been able to keep hold of it the whole time though. Pete Jeddy has been starting to catch up to these guys. Pierce Fox needs to keep moving through this traffic if he wants to have a shot at the podium.
Down to a 155.1 for the fastest lap of the race so far. Bryce Crone setting the pace up the front and leading by 1.4 seconds from Alex Zart. We're looking at Manuel Sandoval at the moment, who's chasing down Jay Williams for P5. Good performances from the both of these guys. And it looks like the BMW was just able to get a better exit out of those first couple of corners. Sandoval in the Porsche dealing a bit with too much curb usage in those opening turns. That cost him a bit of speed, but we'll see what the exit onto the back straight is like. It's incredibly easy to mess up this corner.
Yeah, certainly. It's a challenging corner as well. Michael Belair, you can just see him lurking in the distance. He's about 1.5 seconds ahead. And in P2 there for the GTD class. Jay Williams in P3 for GTD as well. Manuel Sandoval, despite the fact he's in 6th place, he's 3rd in the GTD Pro class as well. But let's take a little bit of a look further back. Well, as Maxwell Budd trying to give a little bit of a run here to Amrit Vestrala.
Yeah, it's going to be a change for position, but will Vestrala get it back here? Has the inside line for the hairpin. You've got to basically clear the car by the apex if you want to be able to maintain the position, and Bud gets it done. So that will be Vestrala back to 12th for now. Maxwell has had a long and rough road in this race so far, got turned around in the first corner of the race, and has not come into pit lane. Didn't get damaged, fortunately. So he's now roughly advancing, eight positions down in 11th for now, and still got the pit cycle to deal with. 10 laps to go for the drivers up the front. I'm amazed that the first part of this race has flown by as quickly as it has. I can't believe we're over halfway through. The pace at the front continuing to creep down. Bryce Crone with a 55.0.
Yeah, definitely some pace to be had here. So we're going to see a late braking maneuver. It's BMW versus BMW. Yep, that's exactly what happens. Joshua Travis there a little bit earlier on the brakes. Pierce Fox sneaks by another one and makes his way up into P15 overall.
Yeah, it was a big dive. As we see Pitters, Sandoval and Sierra have both made their way into the lane, and very quick stops indeed. Harvey Sierra only 5 seconds in the box, Sandoval 7 seconds. Pierce Fox is going to almost get the both of them, but it looks like, yeah, actually he is going to
did.
get the both of them. Back up into 13th place.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to have to see how this works out. Bears Fox himself was in the box for 13 seconds, so I do have to wonder here if the other guys have picked up enough fuel, or indeed he had to use.
Oh, no!
Contact ahead. That's Joshua Travis, literally taking a. Oh dear. Oh
Yeah, it
dear.
looked like Pete Jeji up the inside of him coming into the S's. It's a difficult overtaking opportunity at the best of times, and Joshua Travis, I think, will be none too happy with how that worked out for him. The rear end of that BMW is now destroyed, and, well, Pete Jeji himself, I think, has maybe gotten a slight bit of damage from that.
I have a feeling he is going to get a visit from race control. I haven't seen that incident.
Yes, it was a bit of an optimistic dive. Regardless, 17 minutes to go, and Joshua Travis, despite having no mechanical black flag to his name, will surely have to jump into the pits at the end of this lap to get that car repaired. Battles going on throughout the midfield. This is the highest battle on track for P6. Dustin Warren holding off Jack Minter, who isn't afraid, it seems, to have at least a little look up the inside. It looks like Tommy Polte caught up a little bit to these guys at the end of the straight. So the battle is on here in the second half of the top 10.
It looks like Dustin Warren trying to get not podium placement, but indeed Playboy, indeed, as he makes his way down pit road, ladies and gentlemen. Going to go get a little bit of a pit stop there, as indeed a few more drivers coming in. Maxwell Budd as well. Let's keep an eye and see how quickly these guys go through the pit stall. Certainly, Pierce Fox, he's currently a little bit further back, but yeah, I have a feeling he's going to leapfrog a lot of these guys despite spending longer in the box.
Yeah, indeed. The safety car, the caution period really helped him out there. Yes, he may have spent a bit longer in the pits than these guys, but the fact that the field was so compressed means that in terms of track position, it's a little easier for him to make up those spots than you might have initially anticipated. No surprise to see that Pete Jeji has been assigned a black flag from race control for that incident with the BMW.
Oh, he's still fighting.
Oh, yes, he certainly is. Chris Brissetti trying to get up the inside of him here. Oh, and it looks like Brissetti might be the next one to get a penalty there. It looks like a little bit wide there for Pete Jeji. Brissetti trying to get into the gap, but it very immediately closed.
I have a feeling that one's almost like a little bit of karma, but I do feel, though, that Brissetti... Choose your battles, my friend. I mean, I don't know if these guys will see the black flag. I would have thought they'd see it at the top of the sim. And he's just gone into a move there. And as a result, he's potentially going to be looking at a black flag himself. I have to wonder, though, how's race control going to see it? While they've given a black flag to Jeji, you know, does that kind of like nullify its rights? I'd say probably not. And indeed, I think Brissetti might be under some fire here.
Yeah, he's already got a warning for incident level, so yeah, Brissetti's having a bit of a tough time at the moment, as have many drivers in this field. This has been one of the most brutal rounds of the championship. Not even Adelaide was this chaotic, I think.
Well, I'm going to correct you on that one. Long Beach was a whole other level. I definitely feel for the race control on that one.
Yeah, Long Beach was rough. A bit more space between the track and the walls around this place, as Wilton Palermo is the next car to jump into pit lane under Hard Rock Stadium. And, well, pit stops running around about 5 to 7 seconds under normal circumstances. And Pierce Fox is going to leapfrog him as well. Fox is back into the top 10 as we're on board with Tommy Polte, who's catching up to Jack Minter.
My God, man, I do love the sound of this Corvette race, and I'm absolutely loving the lighting there going on behind Tommy Polte's wheel as well. Honestly, the driver cams add to the experience, but they also give us something to look at, and indeed, not evaluate your setups, but indeed often envy your setups as well. Certainly, Alex Art, they have a pretty swish setup indeed. One of the occasional producers on Pit Road Productions, Rob Campbell as well. Absolutely gorgeous setup, indeed. The man. He needs to get out more than I do, and that's saying something, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he's got a lot of toys on the wall, certainly a good collection of steering wheels, but right now, Tommy Polte applying all of the pressure. You'd think that the Porsche would be a little bit more nimble around here, but I've got to say, Polte really making that Corvette do the work.
Yeah, certainly. That flat plane V8, which is a feature, one of the many changes that the C8 Corvette has over the previous generations. But I think the bigger difference is this current generation of Corvette is mid-engined, with the previous generations being front-engined. It'll be interesting to see what Chevrolet does with the Corvette in future, whether they stick with this mid-engine layout or decide to go for something different.
Oh.
Dustin Warren has been making up steady positions as Chris Brassetti has received a black flag from race control.
Oh, yeah.
Stop and go 10 seconds, and just in time for that news, he's found the wall once again.
Indeed, it's almost like he overdid the evasive maneuver there, but I definitely think it was intentional. As Sean O'Brien now is going to go at it with Pierce Fox. Pierce Fox is on an absolute mission, ladies and gentlemen. And indeed, right now he's only showing us down 2 positions, but he's the only driver who's pit in the top 10. This may be an absolute slam dunk for him. I'm cheering him on, because if so, this will be an absolute masterpiece of pit strategy.
Yeah, hopefully he's managed to get enough fuel in at that pit stop to make it to the end. There is half a chance that he might not be able to. We'll have to wait and see on that. Regardless, it takes nothing away from the magnificent run that Pierce Fox has had in this race so far. Perhaps one of the best incident recoveries I've ever seen. Back with Manuel Sandoval and Michael Pacheco into the S's as Chris Brassetti comes in for service, and he'll be stopped in the pits for another 20 seconds from there. Manuel Sandoval is continuing his pressure on Michael Pacheco. See how they tap and drag the brakes through this section. Sandoval actually hits the apex, so he'll be able to get a little bit more time here over Pacheco. Picks up the slipstream down the backstretch as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenging circuit, but Pacheco's been pretty aggressive tonight in the GTD class. Indeed, GTD class, ladies and gentlemen. GTD Pro, my apologies, I knew what I meant. And I've got to say, he's really making that McLaren do the work, and indeed, that seems to be my phrase for the evening. But I've got to say, of all the GT3 cars, I don't know if that would be the one I'd take here. Certainly the Porsche, I think, would probably be the most nimble, but fair play, that McLaren is having a good time here. It certainly does not seem to be the worst. The AMGs, however, currently dominating the top 4, top 5, and it's certainly 3 out of 5 on the top part of the standings.
Oh, that was a little graze of the wall there for Pacheco, and Sandoval is going to pick up the slipstream and move past on the back stretch. Michael Pacheco doesn't have much of a response to that. Will he try to dive back up the inside of the hairpin, or is he preparing to go for the pit stop? 10 minutes to go. This would be about the time that I'd expect our front runners to start coming in. Either that, or it's going to be some very late pit stops from our front runners. Pacheco does not go for pit lane. No one's going for pit lane on this lap.
Well, indeed, definitely is. I can see here Pete Jeji is currently in the pits yet again. I have a feeling that's pretty much the end of his race as well. Matt Jones, I have a feeling, has left the session. CJ Conklin helping out in race control as well. But right now, Jack Minter there, he's managed to pull away very slightly from Tommy Paulson. He's about 9/10 of a second back. Meanwhile, though, Manuel Sandoval and Michael Pacheco still going at it. Further back, though, Javi Sierra starting to get into the mix as well, with Wilton Palermo just ahead.
Yep, both of these drivers have already taken their pit stops. Palermo, the more recent of the two, 2 laps ago, emerging from pit lane. They haven't got long behind them to see Dustin Warren and Maxwell Budd. Those 2 cars have been steadily trying to fight their way back up. Maxwell Budd stopping about 3 laps ago, 9-second stop for him. So he's gotten a bit more fuel on, potentially getting some repairs done in the meantime as well. Let's see what he can do here versus Dustin Warren.
Indeed, he's definitely applying a good amount of pressure here, as we are going to take away from that battle a minute, as it looks like side by side here goes Javi Sierra and indeed Wilton Palermo. Javi Sierra able to make his way past Palermo, at least for now. The Aerokinetics driver making a solid way into P13 overall and 8th in class.
Yes, Wilton has been having a pretty steady race so far, all things considered. Javi Sierra now gets up the inside of Pacheco on the exit, onto the back straight. He may have compromised his own line, though. That's going to give a good run to Wilton Palermo. Look at how close he is in the slipstream. He'll be making up a little more time on that BMW, but Pacheco is falling down the order at the moment, down to 15th now, and could be passed by Maxwell Button to the hairpin as well. Yes, that brings Pacheco back to his starting position of 16th.
I gotta be honest, I wonder if that was almost strategy at that point, like if he decided not to play, but he is dropped right back, and yep, there you go, he wants to come down pit road. He wanted a clean pit entry. Fair play to him, as Jack Minter is already there. Javi Sierra, though, is going to have Wilton Palermo, Dustin Warren, and indeed Maxwell Budd, all keeping him company behind P11.
All right, this is a nice pack here for 11th place. Sierra, Palermo, Warren, and Budd. As behind, we see Sean Phillips also taking to the pit lane in the Corvette. Dustin Warren, though, is going to come under some pressure from the Porsche of Maxwell Budd. The Porsches really look strong at this circuit, don't they? It seems that the characteristics of the car really favor this circuit. Let's see what the traction is like for Maxwell Budd. Brings it in to the apex and up into third gear, just past the wall. It's a good run onto the back stretch for Maxwell Budd. One of the two back stretches is... Oh! What on earth has just happened to Wilton Palermo there? It looks like the brakes are just slammed on. Is that a hardware failure for Wilton?
I think he's lost his shifter. Oh, there we go.
He gets back going again. I think his pedal's disconnected. Yeah, you see him shaking his head on live pictures, and potentially his wheel disconnected as well. Not entirely sure what's going on for him there, but maybe he'll be able to give us some context. We have pit stops at the front, though. Alex Zart has jumped into pit lane, and he's followed in by Jay Williams. Bryce Crone and Michael Belair stay out for now. What does Alex Zart do from here? It's a nice pit stop from him. Pretty much middle of the road in terms of time spent, 7.7 seconds. And Pierce Fox just getting onto the start-finish straight as Zart exits pit lane. So this is going to be at least a little bit more time made up for Pierce Fox, who's now up into 5th spot.
Yeah, it looks like Pierce Fox is not quite managed to make that pull off. Indeed, he's second going by the pit stops with indeed Bryce Crone, Michael Belair, and yet to make a bit. As is this man, Tommy Polte. He's currently up there in P4. You have to wonder if he's been saving an absolute minefield of fuel here, as we've only got 6 minutes left of this race. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure he saved some fuel, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough to make it to the end.
Yeah, I would expect that we're going to be seeing everyone come into the pits here unless they've somehow managed to do some magic on the fuel save. Javi Sierra, meanwhile, trying his best to make a run here on Amrit Vestrala, who didn't have the best of runs through the S's, but gears it up nicely on the exit. Now, under pressure from Dustin Warren, the Peasant Row Racing Mercedes catching the slipstream, and Maxwell Budd is still present there in the background, but I don't think he'll be quite a factor in this battle. It's going to be Mercedes versus BMW for the moment into this braking zone. There's the dive from Dustin Warren, gets alongside and is ahead at the apex, but there's still enough space there, not quite for Javi Sierra to keep the spot.
Yeah, definitely a very close fight indeed. Maxwell Budd lurking there in the distance as well. These guys absolutely duking out. As I understand, Pete Jedge left the pit lane and then crashed.
Unfortunately, warning for incident level there for Pete Jedge. A very rough night for him. We'll see what happened to him here. Michael Clark alongside there, but there was no contact between the cars. He just got unsettled coming off the curb there. And, well, that looks like day done for Pete Jedge, who, yeah, it's certainly been a difficult night for him. Michael Belair coming into the pits then, 7.6 seconds. Pierce Fox could get him as, it's on between Sandoval and Williams. Jay Williams with that fantastic qualifying performance and moving himself up into the top 5 early on. It's been difficult for him to hold on to those spots though. He's going to try his best here to make it hard for Manuel Sandoval. He keeps the spot, and that's going to give Sean O'Brien a good run too.
Yeah, it's only Sean O'Brien's going to be dedicated camera car on this one indeed. You have to wonder as well, just how hard do you want to fight if you've got 2 guys duking it out ahead of you? Certainly myself, I'm all for putting the nose in necessarily where it doesn't belong. Try and get into the mind of the driver, see if I can force them to make a mistake. But right now, not quite close enough to apply a bit more pressure.
Well, he could get it done if he manages to nail the exit here, but it seems that the 2 in front are a little bit closer together. We've seen Bryce Crone come into the pits as well, so our leader has completed his pit cycle. Here comes the move, potentially, for this machine, Emmanuel Sandoval. on the outside into the hairpin, though. Not ideal. He's going to absolutely fling it into the corner and maintain the outside line. Takes the move. That's fantastic.
Indeed, he's got to be careful now because it looks like Sean O'Brien's trying to get him a potential move in there as well. I could have sworn I just heard someone have a little bit of contact there. Indeed, fair play. Manuel Sandoval already starting to pull away as well. He's managed to get a second in that gap as well.
Yeah, looked like not quite the run that Williams would have wanted through that part of the circuit. Tommy Polte, the only car yet to take a pit stop. That's going to change right now into pit lane then for the number 26 Corvette. And now I'm starting to see the gap for the lead start to come down a little bit. Alex Zart was ever so briefly within a second of Bryce Crone, as Sean O'Brien's going to be the last car to bring it into pit lane here. Very aggressive pit entry, but he manages to get it done. So with all of that, Pierce Fox pitting under caution to repair the damage that he got. He's worked out into P3. He's going to be let go there in the S's. Can he catch Cronin Zard? Absolutely not. 12 seconds is the gap that he has to the leaders, or to Alex Zart at the very least. But yeah, only 2 laps really remaining in this race. Side by side between Narvaez and Minter for 12th, and Narvaez will get the spot, but only just.
Yeah, definitely. He's tapping on the brakes. They're just trying to get the car back into a level of grip. He can fully harness it. Indeed, this track is so incredibly challenging, ladies and gentlemen. There's Minter there looking to try and use the late braking capabilities of the Porsche. A little bit of over rotation. Meanwhile, further up the road, Javi Sierra still going at it here with Maxwell Budd.
That he is. This fight just inside the top 10 for the last position in the top 10, in fact. Can Maxwell Budd get it done? He moves to the inside and makes those gains in the braking zone, and Javi Sierra sees him up the inside. He's going to give him space, but he's going to try and keep the issue going here. Surely not side by side through the chicane. They have to be single file by this point, and Maxwell Budd completes the move.
That was incredibly close rating indeed. That's Tommy Polte just ahead as well. So certainly the long pit stop. I gotta say, that's an absolutely fantastic result by Polte. He's currently in P9 overall, P4 in class. Attaboy, Tommy.
Yeah, very nicely done. Taking advantage of the issues for other drivers in the midfield and going long. He's had some very consistent pace here, backing up that excellent 5th place finish in the GT4 race earlier. It seems that Miami really agrees with Tommy.
Tommy Polte has indeed become a Tommy gun, ladies and gentlemen. He is definitely out there taking names and taking places.
Well, it looks like the final lap has begun here for our leaders, and Chris Brassetti and Kerry Corcoran, both cars that received penalties earlier on in this race, going to be duking it out for 21st spot. Brassetti making up some time in the middle of the corner, but you know, it's all about keeping corner speed consistent in this section. Corcoran running a bit deep across the curb, may have gotten a slowdown from that. No, he's managed to avoid it, but Brassetti right on the back of him. These guys are going to be fighting like it's the win, but they're just outside the top 20.
Indeed, it's going to be the battle of the black flags, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I've got to say that Chris Brassetti dressed a little bit more for it. I absolutely love the real street paints, but I've got to say, Kerry Corcoran, without a doubt, the most patriotic man in the grid. Indeed, he's going to have to work hard. These two guys on paper, just 165 iRating separating them there, as Corcoran's gone deep and Brassetti finds his way ahead, albeit almost catching the nose of the Porsche.
Man, that's fantastic there. Corcoran was trying to go defensive, but ultimately too deep. It's the run to the final corners then for our leaders. Bryce Crone and Alex Zart only separated by a second, but Bryce Crone has absolutely dominated proceedings today. Alex Zart will finish second to him in the end. The real street Mercedes number 5 is going to cross the line in P1. An excellent job from Bryce Crone. And, well, he absorbed the pressure from Alex Zart the whole way through. Fantastic job. How about Pierce Fox, though? From having an incident on the first lap to taking a pit stop under caution, recovering to P3. What a drive.
Yeah, I've got to say, without a doubt, that is my driver of the day. Easily chosen.
Yep, I would be inclined to agree. Michael Belair and Manuel Sandoval rounding out the top 5. Great performances from them. Looking pretty close there in the background between Javi Sierra and Tommy Polte. Polte actually losing a spot there on the final lap. It appears that Dustin Warren and Maxwell Budd were able to make their way past him. It got very close between Tommy and Harvey at the very end, but Polte just holds on to that top 10 spot. Sean Phillips and Quinn Manders, the final battle on track at the moment. Actually, I just said that. Chris Bracetti and Kerry Corcoran have just traded spots behind. You see them emerging from the turn in the background as Phillips and Manders negotiate the final hairpin.
Oh.
That's deep for Phillips, and Quinn Manders will get the spot at the final couple of corners.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit unfortunate. Is the Corvette going to make a move here? Yeah, they're going for it side by side. It's going to be down the line. I don't believe it. Sean Phillips has got it at the line.
Wow, that was very close between the two of them. Just about 1.5 tenths. It's going to be a similar situation, I think, between Kerry Corcoran and Chris Bracetti for basically P last at the moment. Last positions on the lead lap. It's been a really tough race for these two guys, but they see the checkered flag on the lead lap. Corcoran finishing in 21st.
That was definitely an interesting race for you. So I got to say, first time I've ever broadcast this venue, and would I want to drive it? No. Did it make for an entertaining broadcast? Yes, and I definitely love the fact we have race control for it. I think without that, it would not have been the same quality control. So huge shout out to iRacing Control as well, and indeed to Doug Sorrentino and CJ Conklin working the race control booth.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic action here at Miami. It's been a rough and chaotic run for just about everybody apart from Bryce Crone and Alex Zart, who are our top 2, only separated by a second and 5 thousandths. Pierce Fox finishing in P3, Michael Belair winning the GTD class. Awesome drive to P4, finishing ahead of Manuel Sandoval. Jay Williams holds on to second in GTD, a very solid drive from the Gulf Coast Sims BMW. Amrit Vestrala, Dustin Warren, Maxwell Budd, and Tommy Polte round out the top 10. Solid recovery from Budd there.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic recovery indeed. Both himself and Pierce Fox making some great calls. I got to say, shout out to Tommy Polte as well. Definitely, I think that's got to be his best drive we've seen from him yet. Indeed, I'm damn proud of you, Tommy. Good job. Javi Sierra takes 11 with Jack Minter in 12th. Kevin Narvaez in 13th. Sean O'Brien, he's going to be in 14th. William? Why not? He's upgraded, ladies and gentlemen. Sir William Palermo. It's Wilton Palermo, ladies and gentlemen. He's there in 15th with Michael Clark in 16th. Definitely a rough start for the Lamborghini. Michael Pacheco takes 17th. Some absolutely fantastic racecraft from that man, though, with Sean Phillips in 18th. Quinn Manders in 19th, and Andrew Garoff rounding out your top 20.
Making up 6 positions. Kerry Corcoran finishes where he started in 21st, but he had a rollicking battle with Chris Bracetti in those final laps. They will be your final lead lap finishers. Joshua Travis finishing a lap down. Pete Geggi retiring 8 laps from the end. We also saw retirements from Matt Jones and Kevin Rosario, and Rosario's race was effectively over by the time they came out of those opening corners with a bit of an optimistic dive into turn 1. But regardless, we'll leave that for now and go to the real street number 5 of Bryce Crone, who joins us now. Incredible drive, Bryce. From pole position to the win, it seemed like you dominated proceedings for the most part, but Miami has a lot of pitfalls that you have to negotiate.
Nice and easy race. Got the pole position, really just focused on managing my tires. It does get a little bit slippery out there. Did have my concerns with Zart behind me fuel saving. I had a sick feeling that maybe he would go for a no stop, but I was glad to see that he did box, and then I was able to retake the lead after my pit stop.
Well, traffic as well would potentially have been an issue. The first the caution period at the start of the race really mixed things up as well. Were you happy with the overall nature of the circuit? Does it suit you? I mean, obviously the win and pole position tell most of the story there, but anything extra you could say?
Yeah, when the track first came to iRacing, I got it instantly and started putting some laps in, so I think that gave me a head start. But the AMG on this track is especially tough because the rear tires tend to slide out. When once you've done some laps. So that was the only thing I was really worried about. Other than that, I was able to keep a decent lead in front of Zart, and then, yeah, finish the race on top.
Well, that's going to be a few more points taken out of Alex Zart at the top of the GTD Pro standings. Bryce, anyone you want to thank before we let you go for your performance today?
Absolutely. Effect Vodka and Real Street Performance primarily. Ready for next week, and hopefully I can win the chip.
Absolutely. One more round to go. Bryce Crone there taking the win here at Miami today. And Zippy, I understand that you are going to be catching up with Michael Belair.
I've got to say, Michael, absolutely fantastic stuff by you today. Indeed, we're going to get you on the big screen as well. I said you'd be a man to keep an eye out for, and indeed, you absolutely were able to go up 2 positions overall. But not only that, able to take the GTD win. Tell us exactly how you feel at this moment, having survived Miami.
I feel pretty good, man. Those first few laps were super not awesome. The front end just wouldn't turn in, and then after that, I kind of just slowed everything down and was able to try to just keep it clean and keep out of trouble. You know, that was the biggest goal. And then I got all new equipment over the weekend, so I rebuilt my whole sim, and it was all fresh. So it's been a lot of challenging so far, but you know, good overall.
Well, certainly, I can see there's some nice, shiny new C-bar tensions. I think I saw them on your Facebook as well. It was either your Facebook or your Discord. Indeed, I knew you had some new toys, but how are you adjusting to it so far? Certainly myself, I upgraded, and in some ways I miss my old system just because I don't have the patience or the attention span to dial it in yourself. Definitely a little bit more focus. Tell us exactly about that process and indeed what you've learned along the way.
Oh yeah, no, it's been a lot. You know, my wheelbase I had for 6 or 7 years, so going to the new wheelbase was actually really nice. But the biggest thing is just with the new pedals and the tensioner, getting everything lined up and getting comfortable. That's been the biggest process of just trying, and you know, it's still not perfect, but over time we'll get it right.
Well, indeed, certainly it's been an absolute belter to see you here. Not only just having a good race, but indeed able to take a GT win. Fair play to you. But Michael, before we let you go, is there anybody else you'd like to shout out?
You know, just my team over at Speed Designs. Everybody over there has been awesome, and you know, just trying to keep good racing here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, driver of the number 33 car, and indeed the one and only Mr. Michael Belair.
Thank you, man. You guys have a great night.
Thank you, Michael.
Excellent stuff from Michael today. And final driver interview that we'll have time for tonight. Shame we won't be able to get the chance to talk to Alex Zart, but hey, Pierce Fox, P3 in overall. Just incredible recovery, Pierce. I think, you know, it may have felt like the race was over in those opening corners. You were right at the center of that incident, but the caution period ultimately saving you there.
Yeah, that was super surprising for me. I definitely didn't expect there to be a pile up. I planned on going a little deep where they were at, and I accidentally tapped Belair, but I was also surprised that the pits opened so soon with still under safety car, so that was nice.
Well, in any case, it was just a case of leapfrogging people as they pitted, but you did have to make a couple of moves along the way. How did the BMW deal with Miami? I know that it's got a reputation for being the most docile and easy to drive of the GT3 cars, but I think this circuit would make any car a little bit difficult at times.
Yeah, I was having the same problem as I was with the GT4 car. I kept less so understeering on the last corner this race, but understeering there, and this one, the BMW tends to want to twitch the rear end out sometimes on this track as well.
Yeah, well, regardless, that's going to be a magnificent recovery in the end. You gained 4 spots on your starting position despite being at the back of the field under the caution period. So, especially late in the season, great opportunity to get a great points haul coming into the final round next week.
Yeah, I pitted under the cautions to just fuel up. I didn't get really involved with the wrecks at all.
Well, regardless, P3 and taking great advantage of it. Pierce, thanks very much for joining us, and we'll obviously be catching you next round too.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, indeed, we are going to catch up with another driver, and indeed, it's one that you're going to be familiar with seeing here in the interview booth. Alex, I got to say, Miami, definitely not one of the more familiar circuits, but fair play, Bryce, he was a lot today, and you weren't quite able to give him the pressure that you was hopefully looking for.
Yeah, Bryce was quick today, man. Fair play to him in that Merc, like the straight line speed. The Lambos always struggle with straight line speed, so I knew this track was going to be a challenge and learning the new track as well. But it was a lot of fun, honestly, and a couple chaotic start moments there, but otherwise a pretty boring race from my part. I kind of kept it in shouting distance, and then on the pit stop I got a little bit of an undercut, but not enough to make a real difference, so I never really actually challenged Bryce. But overall a decent race, and I think it leads into a really interesting final race next week where there is kind of everything to play for there.
There's definitely going to be a bit of a grudge match between yourself and the driver of the number 5 car, but we're heading to Indianapolis next week. Now, don't get me wrong, it is again one of the newer circuits, and certainly myself, I tend to struggle with it because it's quite wide, and indeed the lines are not as what you'd expect them to be, because it's almost a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle there, trying to make your way through. Not quite as straightforward as some of the other tracks that we've seen. Certainly it doesn't have the same kind of flow as something like Road Atlanta or Spa. Yourself, how do you think this is going to play into your hands? Is this something that you're going to think you're going to be able to capitalize on and indeed try and get a good run at winning this championship in the GTD Pro?
To be honest, no doubt the Indianapolis track was definitely my least favorite coming to the calendar here, but definitely will give it my best shot. Just never had a lot of success there. I think you pointed out a lot of the characteristics of the track that really make it difficult to race on, but it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a good challenge. We'll try to put a good weekend for practice this week and come ready to go next Monday.
Well, certainly, Alex, we are indeed looking forward to it. It's going to be a tight battle all the way to the end, which honestly is exactly what we want to see here on Pit Road Productions. But before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to shout out? And a little bit of advice here from a guy called Racine Pazui. If you have a girlfriend, a partner, and a dog, put the partner first. Just FYI.
Partner first. Well, Melissa, shout out. So she's always watching for sure. Olive Rio, the pets, can get a shout out here. My best friend Jeff, I think you shouted him out last broadcast. He's always tuning in as well. And then my mom typically tunes in also. So shout out to everybody for watching. I really appreciate you guys coming out to support, and it's been a lot of fun having you along with us for the ride.
I'm going to guess your friend is Jeff Winkers 7008.
You got it. You got it.
Attaboy. Certainly big love there for Jeff there in the chat. And indeed, if your mum's there, by all means, she can leave a comment. Certainly my mum does that sometimes as well. Got to admit, we love it when sim racing becomes a family thing. But certainly, Alex, what an absolute astonishing performance here. Not quite enough to get the win, but indeed, Miami definitely took a few prisoners. So thankfully, you weren't one of them. A good effort indeed.
Thank you much. Take care.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, definitely a great interview there with Alex as well. Definitely did enjoy that. But Reese, I think we're at that magical time of the show. We should bring it to a close.
Indeed, we should. My goodness, what chaos erupted at Miami. Can't wait to see how the final round of the championship next week goes at Indianapolis. We have champions to crown in 4 classes: GT4, TCR, GTD, and GTD Pro. Goodness me, it's going to be a rollicking fun time. Make sure to tune in next Monday on Pit Road Productions for that final reminder as well. For our 250th show special event that's coming up on March the 25th, 8:15 p.m. EST broadcast start, but the servers will go up a little bit earlier than that. We've got 2 races going in the Spec Racer Ford at Donington Park and the Radical at Road Atlanta. Everyone who has been involved in a race broadcast by Pit Road Productions is invited. Make sure that you join the league and accept the invite or apply. The league ID is down there at the bottom left, and make sure to get yourself in on that. It'll be a super fun time indeed, celebrating our 250th show here on Pit Road Productions. For now though, a huge thanks to Podium 1 and all the associated partners and sponsors that we thanked earlier in the show for putting this series on and giving us the chance to bring this brilliant series to the world. I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy7 alongside me in the commentary box here on Pit Road Productions. We'll see you next week for the last round at Indianapolis.
Are you ready?